Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Rob Hernandez, along with Joshua Sean and our special guest, Austin Maynard.
Happy Wednesday. What's up, Austin?
How's it going, guys?
How are you?
I am out here in my car at Westwood School, sitting in the dark.
Everything's okay, right?
Yeah. No, I got a team that booked the school for a private night, so insurance, liability, all that good stuff. I have to sit out here all night until they're done. So,
Nice. So, tell us a little bit about the location that you're at.
Well, Westwood School was built in 1914. It was originally the old Liberty High Elementary School. And was an elementary school, I believe, until the 1980s, and then it was turned into Westwood High School. I mean, it's about 1914 was that 107 years old. It's hard to find a lot of history about this place, like written history at least, because it's literally out in the middle of nowhere. Like, I'm in the middle of a cornfield. The nearest town is 3 miles away.
So accessibility to resources is low.
But it's also, we have a porta-john for toilets and all that stuff, but and there is some electricity in here, but the building completely is isolated out in the country.
I see.
And there's no traffic noise. There's nobody that really will come in and interrupt or try to break into this place. But there's been a lot of things that we've been hearing. There's a lot of activity that has been reported from, it was actually turned into apartment buildings after it was closed down. And there were people even that were living in here that said that it was haunted. And they were having activity, and there was even one tenant that sent me a video of the lights turning on by themselves in her apartment and saying that her daughter was talking to this man they called the Chalk Man. And they called him that because apparently he drew an outline of a stick, he drew an outline of a man on the chalkboard one day, and her daughter kept talking. And she told me all this. She sent me videos. So I don't know, but it's some crazy vibes in there, aggressive, nice, but it's all over the place. It's all over the place on both ends of the spectrum, man.
But that's those type of locations I love because there's no documented history, right? There's no documents on that. So when people start doing EVP sessions, start doing ghost box sessions, you start recording things, you're going to start getting names, you're going to start getting dates, you're going to start getting a lot of things. And dude, just keep a log of everything. And then you'll kind of start seeing patterns. And then they're going to tell you the story of that location. That's happened to me in a couple of different locations. And I loved it because there was no real documented history. Well, there was, but it was held away from the public, right? Because it was a jail. So then once you start meeting up with historians, things like that, you start comparing notes. And then they're like, how in the hell did you get this information? It's not public knowledge. And then you'll just start saying, well, this is how I did it. And then you'll start getting that validation. And that's what makes it worth it.
It's even better when, we have not only former tenants that come by sometimes when they see us out here doing stuff, they'll swing by and they'll try to, they'll tell us stories of things that they've seen or heard. But then my partner, Eric, his wife went to elementary school here.
Oh, wow.
In the early 80s. And so she has history with this place. Plus, my wife actually, during a brief time between when it was shut down and consolidated with the other schools and before it turned into apartments, it was actually a haunted attraction every year.
Oh, really?
They did 13 shows a year, and it was called Terror at the Westwood.
Okay.
And there's still all the props and everything still in there, just kind of thrown around, but it adds that extra anxiety level. But my wife was actually one of the volunteer actors in the Terror of the Westwood.
Oh, wow.
So there's all these connections that seem to just pop up, and they're just weird coincidences because I mean, I don't know. It's a beautiful mystery, is what I call it. And like, to your point, Rob, like that's one of those things that's just like, man, we keep finding out more and more. And even today, I found out some information that apparently back in the late '80s, when it was a high school, there was a former student that told the owner that one of the classrooms, they actually had a closet that they, when special needs kids acted out, they would put them in the closet as punishment and like keep them in there for like hours. And so like that makes me wonder, like, okay, one, where is this classroom? I need to find this classroom, figure out where this closet was. Two, I mean, what kind of energy might remain from the special needs kids being locked in the closet? I mean, what kind of trauma do they experience because of that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Used, like they don't fucking know what they did. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, it's okay.
Austin, before we go any further, though, introduce yourself if you can, and let us know what you're involved in. A lot of our audience may not know who you are, but they need to know who you are. So could you take just a second and tell us your background and a little bit more about why we're honored to have you on the show?
I don't know why.
I'm doing that on purpose, by the way.
I know, Josh. You're good.
No, but just tell us a little bit about it.
I am 29 years old, turning 30 at the end of this month.
Age is not okay. That's fine.
But I have been an investigator for. I mean, we started in 2000. I started in 2015, really, but have kind of quickly developed a passion for saving history, like kind of preserving historical buildings, and trying to find ways to save money for them, as well as like really embracing the history of these places. And I think that there's something to, I call it experiencing the history, because when you walk into these places, you're walking through, you feel the energy. And so because of that, like there would be locations that you wouldn't even think are haunted, because there's no like death or tragedy at these locations. Mm-hmm. But what I realized is that a lot of these locations I was walking through, I mean, they were creepy as hell, but there's no tragic backstory. But there's still like, I mean, we started getting activity, we started hearing these things and seeing things. So, I started the Underground Paranormal Network. And now the Underground Paranormal Network, we're currently at 6 locations, adding one more to be announced soon. And these locations, I kind of string them all together into one big, like, one-stop shop for investigators or investigation teams, to where you can book multiple locations within Ohio and Michigan right now, and pay just like a small deposit to book up to 6 different nights throughout the year. And you pay just the small deposit up front. It secures you 6 dates. You pick the location on which date you want to go to, and it kind of encourages people to see all of the locations. They'll come to us for one, and it's like, oh, well, we have all of these. Fill up your calendar for the year. And it's so convenient. It's so easy for people. And then I noticed that there's a lot of attention that can be redirected at these locations. And especially if I've developed connections with celebrities, people on TV, producers, all this stuff. So like I'll use the celebrities, and they know I do this. I'll use these guys like the Tennessee Wraith Chasers, the Ghost Brothers, KD, of course. I'll bring them out and use that attention because they're just turning heads to these locations that nobody's ever heard of, right? Yeah. I take that attention and then I direct it to the location, to the builders that I try to put the attention on, to people that I feel are really deserving of recognition for the work that they're doing, and it's not just, oh, you're popular and everybody knows who you are. No, that don't matter. What matters is, are you doing advancing things in this field? Are you creating new paths of exploration or discovering new paths of exploration? Are you putting passion into this specific study? These things are things that people don't recognize, and like, there are people that deserve the attention, whereas some of these celebrities, I don't believe, really deserve as much attention as these people. And so that's why I try to, I'll get big names. Not that they don't deserve it, but you know what I mean. I'll get these big names out there and try to redirect it and put the right people in the spotlight, so to speak.
Yeah.
Which has gotten me involved heavily with ITC. I mean, heavily. And I'm involved with literally anybody that's involved, is involved in the ITC community. I have some kind of communication with.
Right.
That is true. Yes, that is true.
Everybody. I support it, man, 100%.
No, it's well said. I mean, you said it. You hit the nail on the head. And the things that you're doing, it sounds so familiar, really close to my heart. Because, and dude, we've never talked about this. I was doing exactly what you're doing when I got really into the paranormal. I do not going to locations where everybody else has gone. I have discovered locations like what you said. I didn't even know that they were haunted. There's no reports of the locations being haunted. Nothing. You just walk in there and you feel the energy, and then it's like, oh, crap. Then we get permission to go in these places, and we're always back because we're not telling everybody and their brother about these places. We're doing it on our own, and then eventually it's like, hey, would you like to do a fundraiser to help you raise some money for your building? We can, raise some money for you. And then they're like, sure. We kind of keep it low key, and then just bring, a team here, a team there, and eventually we're bringing in money, and not a dime goes to me because I want to, preserve that location, right? So, and then, with urban exploring, that's why I tell people, as long as you don't trust us, go urban explore. You're going to find more things than any of the locations that you have to spend money on. So it's just really crazy. Sorry, I might have been echoing, but I turned something on. But go ahead.
No, it's I mean, it's exactly the point, though. I mean, these locations that I work with, actually, I would say 4 of them currently, we're just sitting there being used as storage by a single guy that bought it to keep it from the wrecking ball, but has not nearly anywhere near the millions of dollars it requires to restore these places. And so, I mean, I reach out to these guys. I find out how I can contact them. I reach out to them, and, we have insurance. We have all these things kind of covered that give them ease of mind. Like, look, we'll come in here. I handle volunteer cleanup days. Like, we'll set up a day where I got 15, 20 people come out here. We'll sweep and mop and sanitize the entire place, get rid of any and all smells. There's so much that goes into just keeping a place standing that, like, any help that these guys are getting is just, it means so much to these guys. And then the fact that, if we can throw them, if we can give them money every time that we go out there, every time that the team goes out there, we give them that money. I mean, even if it's only a few $100 here and there, or a few $100 every other weekend or whatever, that's more than they were getting before. And that's a task that they don't have to worry about so much anymore, because they don't got to sit there and worry about going in there and cleaning it up, because we got staff that does that. We have caretakers. We have so much of this shit covered. And so it's so easy anymore that, I mean, we're actually working with the Defiance, Ohio Board of Control for the city, and they're actually we're working with the city attorneys and everything to actually be able to open up a couple of locations. We got the Auglaize Village Museum, which is actually owned by the Historical Society, that allows us to do stuff out there too, because we raise money for them. All the people that work there are volunteers. So what money do they have except, the city and the county commissioners are supposed to have a some funding for them, but it's like just minimal at best.
Right.
And they have 18 100-plus-year-old buildings on this property that need to be maintained, grass that needs to be, I mean, it's 40 acres of grass, too. That's a lot of gas money to put in lawnmowers, you know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, Katie Holte would like to go out there and do that.
Oh, Steve. Hey, man, you know what? Hey, Steve, you want to come out and help mow grass, man? Anything, man. It's so much. And especially because like a lot of these places are not even like little either. But you know, I'm trying to do it on a scale where I have team after team after team just continuing to come into these locations. Like I want to put these locations that nobody's ever heard of on the map, on the paranormal map, and try to change the way that people see the paranormal field. You know, you don't have to freaking be murdered in the building to have energy there. You know what I mean? So like, I don't understand like why this whole belief system has arisen. Like I think to your point, Rob, I think if you call them enough, they will come.
Oh no, exactly.
From any location, they will come. I love how Josh is like kind of flashing in Rob's screen a little bit there. It's kind of ghostly. It's weird.
Really?
Anybody else seeing that?
Nuh-uh.
I'm doing that on purpose to throw you off. So.
Oh, are you? Oh, okay.
I can't. There's nothing on my end, so it's good. But yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Oh, man, if anybody watches the live feed, I hope somebody else can see it too. You just like keep staticky flashing into Rob's screen.
That's cool.
That is pretty
I'm
awesome.
actually picking on Rob. That's actually exactly what I had in mind. This is great.
I wish I could screenshot it at the right time. I wonder if I can.
I hear my voice in your car, Austin. There might be a feedback. I'm not sure, Rob. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be because of his video feed. It's doing a mix minus thing.
Oh, okay. It could be the audio coming through his car back into a speakerphone. I think it's
that's exactly it.
Well, actually, it's not even coming through my car anymore. It's not even coming through my car. It's just coming through the speakerphone.
Wow. Oh, wow. Then I don't know what's going on.
Literally nothing has changed. I haven't done anything since the beginning of this.
Oh, cool. See, we provide production effects, and we didn't even do anything to plan it.
Well, apparently there's other things providing production effects that you didn't ask for. They just wanted to join in.
Exactly. That happens a lot here.
Gotta love it. Oh, yeah.
So what time are they investigating till?
2 a.m.
Oh, wow.
It would be 11 your time.
Right.
So I got 3 more hours. Well, 2 hours and 40 minutes here. You got me for the next 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Well, can you tell us a little bit more about your current interest? I know before the show we were talking about you're getting into sweep circuits. How did you get involved in that? You shared that with us. Can you let our audience know?
Yeah. So obviously I've been working with, so many different builders. And I wanted to try to, I've always talked about building or like tinkering around with stuff. And I do little ITC experiments. Like I've never really worked with circuits, I guess. I've just kind of connected things together and played around with different ideas that most people don't think of, like using copper wire and connecting multiple REM pods together around the antennas. Like the whole copper wire becomes a field. It's crazy.
Right.
But and on top of that, I'm always, trying to be up to date with like the most innovative stuff. But I just figured one time, I want to learn how to build a sweep circuit. I want to learn how to build my own ghost box if I wanted to. And it doesn't have to be anything special. I was just trying to put my foot in the door, right? So I reached out to Steve Holte, and me and him have been working together for a couple years now. And, he taught me what to do, how to build it. It just taught me how to like modify the sweep circuit and what to look for with the radios.
Right.
And I mean, he didn't really he walked me through the sweep circuit itself, but then kind of put it off so where it's like, try to figure it out yourself kind of thing. And so I've been trying to figure out some other things, and I learned something with the two ghost boxes that I've actually built.
Right.
So it's kind of cool, man. But I don't really plan on putting these into production yet.
Yet is the key word.
I don't know if I'm going to.
Okay.
That's why I say I don't plan on it yet.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what the future holds. I mean, I have so much that I got to deal with already. I mean, on top of certifications, plus, I got 2 events planned this year already. Both of them, one's July 31st, the other one's September 11th. Now actually we're adding the 7th location, which is going to be probably by far the biggest one yet, size wise. Now 7 locations. So every time I get a new location, I have to do a big celebrity event. I have to do it because at this point, every time a location comes on the network, I have to turn heads. I got to do something. So I call up my good friends, and just say, hey, let's make something happen, get some attention. And, I think adding that onto all of that is like, it seems overwhelming, especially when you really, when I actually building the sweep circuit, like that was a painful process in itself, learning the process. And I know Steve was getting frustrated as hell with me, but I appreciate the fact that he actually didn't blow me up. He actually eventually he video called me. He's like, dude, what are you doing?
Right.
But I just don't think that at this time, I don't know if I get added onto my current repertoire of responsibilities.
It's a lot.
But who knows? Maybe in the future. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
No, it's like what Katie said. There's so many people right now doing copy and paste, and it's happened a lot in the past. So yeah, there was so many people that did that. So I agree with her.
It still happens though. I mean,
I know.
I mean, that's a thing though. No matter what industry you're in, you're going to have people that are going to have off-brand stuff, right? I mean, it doesn't matter if you copyrighted it, trademarked it, whatever. You're going to have off-brand stuff. I mean,
no, exactly.
To stay ahead of the game. And that's why I love that's why I say there's only a handful of genuine, innovative builders and developers in this field anymore. And I mean, really, it's 5 or 6 of you guys, you know what I mean? So
right. At least in the public arena. There are some in the private arena, but I know what you mean by that. There's not many left.
Well, when I say innovative developers, I mean people that are actually building things and putting them out there for
sale,
further exploration.
Right.
I mean, yeah, sure. There's probably Joe Schmo over there in a shack in the mountains doing some shit. I don't know,
you never know, right? I mean, you never know. What's the probability? It's possible.
But see, even going beyond development, I mean, you look at Keith Clark, right?
Paranormal.
I mean, yeah, he's doing a lot of. I know he's working with a lot of people that are doing some amazing things. I mean, he's got people over there that are working with AI. Right. That's unbelievable.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's just one of the many things that people are exploring behind the scenes, to your point. It's not really out there in the public eye unless you were to go looking for it.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm trying to help people that, aren't going out there and able to, I mean, for instance, Rob, right? I mean, how much time do you have to market and promote?
You don't. I mean, I really don't. It's an afterthought.
But it's it's half of it's half of the business. It's half of the freaking thing. I mean, you can build it, but if you're trying to put it out there for people, you got to promote, you got to advertise, you have to market, you have to learn all that shit.
Yeah, but you know what? It's all word of mouth. You know what I mean? It's if I sell a box, I sell a box. If I don't, I don't. I got other things I'm working on.
Mm-hmm. Oh, exactly. I mean, it just, I guess what I mean is like, getting it out there for the public recognition and use, and like actually putting something out there to, I like to say, to steer people away from the paramart.com websites is what I like to say.
Well, no, you said it, you nailed it. But you know what though, to get people to really understand what a true ghost box is, and not just going out and buy a off the market ghost box that sounds like crap, and you can even get a hack shack that's going to work that a hell of a lot better. But yeah, it's almost impossible because they buy what they see.
And what do? I show. The beautiful thing, the convenient thing about what I do, man, is that like I got 7 locations, right? Every time, what am I doing out here right now? I'm sitting at a location, and I just dealt with a private team in person and showed them different devices. I showed them different ghost boxes. I let them use these ghost boxes on their investigation. By the end of the investigation, they either love it or they are just, but like if they love it, typically they want to buy it. And usually, it's always easier to sell something to somebody in person, and if they've had the chance to use it themselves,
of course,
than it is to try to just sell somebody through a video or through whatever, you know what I mean? Because a video can easily be manipulated anymore. People don't trust videos. But when you give them the device, let them hold it in their hands, let them use it at one of the haunted locations during their investigation. By the end of that shit, they're like, oh, wow, I really like this thing, man. I want it, And it's like, well, here you go, It's convenience. Put it in their face.
No, exactly right.
But like, otherwise they wouldn't know. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, is like, people don't want to go outside of the box. They don't want to do the research. They want to see what's right in front of them. And usually that's either scrolling through Facebook page or going to one of these websites, these mass paramart.com websites that, just that it's the only thing they know. They don't even know about, the RTC or Supernatural Inc. or ITC. They don't know any of these because they wouldn't have ever like heard of them until somebody showed them. And there's nobody out there showing these people. And I don't understand it. You want to talk about bringing the ITC field back? You want to talk about taking it back? Let's fucking take it back, man. Let's show these people.
Austin's got fire. Wow.
Man.
I like it.
Oh, man. It's passion, man. It's passion.
Austin, yeah. I can't stand that I'm this guy, but I have to be this guy. Do you have earbuds by chance? And the only reason why I'm asking is because the feedback loop is so loud that I'm having trouble talking, and the kickback is coming right as you're talking.
How's this? Is that better?
That is, but I'm sorry to make you.
I don't know if it might be the echo from us, and that's what's going back out.
Yeah, I turned the volume down on my speakerphone, so hopefully that helps a little bit.
Thank you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
No. Did it work?
There's still echo.
There's a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try this. Hold on. How about now?
Test. Oh, that's better. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. I'm sorry to do that. Yeah. Sorry to do that.
Cool.
Yeah, now I can turn you up. I can actually hear you guys. Perfect.
Good.
Well, and I think that's part of the reason why Rob and I wanted to start this podcast, is to join like what you're doing, what we've seen with Paranormal Study, ITC Voices, Paranormal.com, Paranormal Research Association, and to kind of just get out there. And we're doing it our way. We're trying to do a weekly podcast and get the information out there. And we're also at the top of the hour, we'll be doing a 20-minute education session just on noise suppression and noise reduction. So we're trying to show maybe what's currently out there. You need to kind of reevaluate and give you information so you can make your own informed decisions, and then combined with what you're doing, what all of our colleagues are doing. I agree with your sentiment that we need to get the proper, truthful information out there. and at least let people see both sides of the coin, and then they can make their own decision.
And also, I think people need to I think people are generally speaking, I guess, people are unaware of a lot of the custom built ITC boxes and devices that are out there. Like, I mean, how many people really know what you're working on? How many people how many people have even heard of like KD or J or like, I mean, unless you know what I mean? Like the mass people that, people that are doing real ghost box building, the few of you guys that are out there, like most people don't know about you guys.
No. And that's absolutely right. I mean, it's like I said, I mean, the paranormal community in general is really small. I mean, as you know, being a promoter, things like that, you do actually see it is really small. But there's a lot of people out there that are trying to get into the paranormal, you know what I mean? But people that actually do true research, it's really small. So yeah, the mass, just like I said, see whatever they see on TV, whatever, and that's how devices get exposed. It's not always the best devices out there because the people that stand behind them or build those boxes, I'm not going to even go there, but like Jay's like amazing, and Jay found our podcast and he saw it for the first time and he was like, holy crap, why didn't I see this before? And he gave me nothing but great feedback. But yeah, we just need to get the word out there, and that's what we're trying to do. And we're trying to, if there's a topic that anybody out there wants to see, that's what we'll do. And that's why we're doing the session on noise gates and things like that later, and what it actually does.
Right.
Yeah, I think people should know I'm not a big pedal fan. I don't like pedals unless they're reverse pedals or delay pedals. I'm not really a big fan of I feel like the more that you're trying to pass the audio through, I don't know, that's where the less the better, in my opinion. The more raw the audio is, the better. And I mean, circuitry is one thing, but when you start adding effects pedals, you start adding a whole new element that this audio has to pass through. Because, I mean, that pedal itself is going to change the audio frequencies. And so what you get out after the pedal is not necessarily what went in the pedal. And so it's kind of I just question a lot. I don't really, I've steered away from the pedals. Not that they don't work, but I'm just not really a big pedal guy. Because I think, especially noise suppression, man, it's cutting out a lot.
Yeah, no, exactly. Now we will get into one of the boxes that we were just talking about, and if I say the name, then everybody will know. I mean, it's just the way that device works. It's going, into a Jensen radio going into an amplifier through spring reverb and then back out to another amplifier. It's already lost so much of the original audio, and when it all comes out through the speakers, it just sounds like crap.
I will defend a spring reverb tank. I will defend a spring reverb tank over a pedal.
If it's done right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the only reason I like spring reverb tanks is because literally you put that audio out there and it's just bouncing around inside of this chamber. Inside the audio is still raw. It's just bouncing around inside that thing and goes out. And who knows, maybe the audio bouncing around for a little bit of extra time instead of just dispersing like normal audio would. Maybe even that extra half a millisecond or whatever it's in there for. It gives them a little bit of extra time to be able to manipulate it. And I actually there's the KD built one. I call it the Cannon, and it's basically this big metal copper sheet that he folded into like a big square, and it's about, I don't know, probably 2 feet long, and it's all custom springs inside, and he's done it. But basically, speaker on one end, condenser mic on the other. You put it out into the amplifier, And I put it through a big PA amplifier, and I just blast it down like the halls of Middle Point. And I love doing that because it's basically creating a big reverb tank down that hallway. And man, we were hearing whistling, we were hearing a woman singing, man, it's just nuts.
Well, see, that's the way that you should do it, though. It's not just, there's ways to do it. There's the right way to do it and the wrong way to do it. The box that I'm talking about is poorly executed. And I've seen other people do the method that you're talking about. And I'm like, if you want to do that, there you go. That's the proper way of doing it, because you're just taking it out. You have two different mics sending out, one's being the transmitter, the other being the receiver, and then it's just being sent out.
And although I agree with your point on the box specifically, that guy, he is a good friend of mine, and he actually lives like 15 minutes from Westwood. So
it's all right.
I like the guy. He's a great guy, but he's completely oblivious to everything else going on in the field. And I'm just going to tell you that right now. After talking to him, he has no idea what any other builders are doing, what anybody else is really doing in the field. And so, like, when I was showing him some of the other stuff out there currently, he was like, holy crap, But, like, he builds what he builds because that's what he does. And and apparently a lot of those, $10,000 eBay sales that, he never even got paid on. He ended up paying, like, a bunch of the eBay fees at first, got reimbursed them, like, months later after he filed the dispute for never getting any of that money.
Right.
Because, like, people would bid on it and just not pay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
no, I get it, but
I agree with you 100% on the box, and and trust me, I have went out of my way to encourage him to steer away from certain things, even going as far as offering him a randomized, custom-built mechanical sweep circuit that the owner of Middle Point School, he is a robotics instructor, works with Arduino. And so he created a randomized mechanical sweep circuit. So just a gear turns back and forth. And I was going to put it in an antique radio, like a tube radio, and put it on that butterfly circuit, just make it go back and forth randomly.
Right.
But I was like, well, I think that he could probably use it a little more than I could, especially if it would get him away from what he's currently doing and try to make it, I don't know, more legitimate or better in any way than the hacks and the, whatever. I tried, and actually I think he recently just messaged me and said he was stepping out of the field for a while because his wife was having some health problems. So,
right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
He's a really nice guy, but like I said, I think that he has no idea at all what anybody else is doing in the field, and so it's like he's not advanced any further really than what like he is.
Right.
So
I'm sorry to hear about his wife.
Yeah, I don't know. She's had problems for a while, and I think I don't think she's like terminal in any way, but like I know he was having some issues. Plus, his daughter's in high school and stuff, and he's just trying to live family life and do more of that. And I think, well, plus I think he recognizes, like especially after I've kind of showed him a lot of like what is really happening out in the field now. I think he's kind of, I don't know if maybe it showed him like, dang, I'm really not, as far along as I thought I was, or I don't know. I respect the guy. He's honest about it. He's honest about everything.
Right.
He's not going to sit there and tell me like, oh, I'm the greatest. This is what I do. Nobody else builds what I do. It's really, he's not that kind of guy. He's one of the guys, like, if you actually reach out and talk to him, like, you'll realize he really he got put in a position that he was never ready for. And that he was, like, never, like, because, certain people put him in a position of the spotlight. And then it just kind of, the demand was so high for what he was building. And he got caught up in it. And now it's like, what do you do? If you're making this much per box and people are willing to pay it, would you stop, Rob? If you were making $2,000 a box, would you stop?
Probably not. I mean, I would be like, all right, who's next? No, I mean, but there's still, like, there still comes a point to where you're like, you know what? Is it really worth my time to, you do put your foot down.
And that's where the line is, man. And that's the hard part, I would imagine, because like, I mean, it's one thing to sit here and see and like judge what you see from him and from people like him, but when you're put in that position, what do you do?
I get it.
I mean, if you were offered $2,000 for an RTC box, I mean, if people were willing to pay it, why would you not? Like, especially if you had thousands of people messaging you saying, I want one. But you're a one-man operation.
It's hard.
I mean, eventually the demand is going to be so high that you're not going to be able to build them for $300, $400 a piece. You know what I mean? It's like you got to take all this time away to try to keep up with these orders for people. Eventually, you're going to try to eliminate people who are not as serious as others about buying one.
Right.
And that's just kind of that's why I say, like, he was put in a position, like, inadvertently, almost because of all of the shows and everything, that he got a lot more attention, I think, than he was really truly ready for.
Yeah. I mean, believe it or not, I had box number 4.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I just cleaned it up and then I resold it.
Oh, well, there you go. If you made a good profit, I mean, if you made something on it, whatever.
I sold it I bought it for $650. I sold it for $650 plus shipping.
Well, there you go.
But I could have sold it for a lot more now, but I don't care. It wasn't about that.
And that's always I mean, trust me, man. I know I talk to every single builder, and every single builder says the same exact thing you do. And it's morally wrong to everybody, and I agree with it. I do, and I've questioned him about it, and I've prodded him about it. Trust me, I have, because I'm not afraid to do it. Somebody has to, I feel like, but
send you in, Austin. Yeah.
But I mean, but I'm not doing it with ill intentions. You know what I mean? Right. I do it with the intentions of, like, how can I help you improve this or make it more accessible to people without breaking the bank and without ruining your thing, without affecting your business or your life or whatever. That's what a lot of what I helped Jay do, and a lot of what I helped KD do. You know what I mean? Just that kind of stuff.
Right. But, Wayne, you're speaking bad words, Wayne.
I am?
Mr. Poe.
I can't see the chat, so I can't comment on that.
Oh yeah, I can't even see the Poltercom. Is that what it said?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that guy. I've been seeing a steady decline in him. Apparently.
I'm not going to even say it.
I won't say his name, but that guy.
Yeah, that person is very questionable right now. Just has ripped off a lot of friends of mine, and that's the sad part.
Well, I think the problem was he took on that location, and he put everything, all of his focus into that, and it's almost like he forgot to shut off the order button on his website.
Yeah.
So the orders just kept coming in, and he was busy doing that, and it's so now people have been waiting a year or more for their stuff, never heard anything from him, and that's wrong on his part, obviously. Yeah. He needs to address it. He needs to reach out or something, refund people.
Yeah, and that's the sad part. That doesn't happen. So
it's actually happening to another builder now too, and I warned him about it, and it's happening to him, and I'm even cutting ties with him because I just can't do anything for him if he's not going to be consistent.
So here's the thing. So, being a builder, I think I touched base a little bit on that with you. I don't like getting backed up on orders. If I have 5, 6, I mean, the highest I've ever gotten was like 10 orders at once. And I told the people, you're going to have to wait. I know I'm getting a little backed up. I'm not taking any more orders until I get all of these filled out. But just give me, 15 days to get all of these orders filled. And I got them out, and then I started taking 1 or 2 orders, and that's as far as I'd get backed up.
I think the biggest issue that these guys, it's when they try to take on something else on top of what they're doing, especially if they're getting a lot of orders and a lot of attention. If people are buying their stuff, and especially if they ask me to go out there and promote their stuff for them, and then they can't keep up with it, or they're putting their focus somewhere else. It's like, priorities. You know what I mean? If you're gonna be a builder and you're gonna do that, you got to do that. You got to make sure you have the products done, because to your point, like, you get so backed up, eventually, it's going to become way overwhelming, and it's not even going to be fun to build anymore. And that energy that you are putting into that box now becomes negative energy. Yeah. It's not good energy, because you feel like it's work and it's not fun anymore.
Exactly. So, and that's exactly why I've just limited myself to, a couple of boxes at a time. Let me get them out, then take more orders. And I'm trying to get Jay to build me a box.
I get you one.
I told Jay, dude, I wanted to use one of your boxes on my show. Right. I like to use other people's products on my show, just to kind of give them some exposure, things like that. I talk about the circuit that Steve has built, this reverse circuit that he used for a little while. I always give him props on that. I might not have, maybe during a certain show, but I always give him props on that reverse circuit, and it works great.
Well, it's actually, Steve was the one who had the idea to use the reverse pedal. He was actually using a pedal at first. And that's like, he was using a specific delay pedal for his original reverse boxes. But Katie actually developed the circuit, and she doesn't use the Arduino that I know that you figured out an Arduino way, right?
Yeah.
But she's using something else. I don't know exactly what she does, but she, like Katie, and they hate Arduino. They hate Arduino everything. You know that.
And I know that.
So Katie is brilliant. Like, brilliant. Like, this girl is Ron Ricketts level hacking into radios. Brilliant. Okay. And she figured out, obviously, how to do the random voltage scanning on every box that she makes, all these little all these Holte boxes with the AM FM random linear, even the forever boxes that she's doing, man. Those are all different tuners that she's putting in these. None of them are like, it's a range of different radios that she's hacking into and putting into these boxes.
Yeah, she uses Armboard, she says.
Dude, she's just brilliant. Like, I can't even begin to talk about how great she is, I think.
And here's the whole thing. You want to know how I got into building boxes? Honestly, it was Katie. It was from Katie.
Oh yeah.
She was originally, she talked me into doing something.
No. I got you into build. No. We're gonna have this out right here. So I thought I helped get you into boxes. Oh.
Yeah, so it was kind of funny on some of the things that she's the one that was like, push me, Rob, you got to do this. Rob, you got to do this. And so anyway, so I give props to Katie all the time.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and they talk highly of you. So I mean, I know. I don't know, man. Like, there's just shit that Katie's working on, and beyond ghost boxes, even just like the Phoenix, the Orion, among other things too. And I mean, I think that nobody really explores that. I mean, the phonetics, people, they were using them in the Ovilus and stuff like that, but like, nobody really thought, hey, let's just continuously randomly sweep these things nonstop. Nobody ever thought. I mean, nobody ever put it into like an actual product, right?
Right.
I mean, I like the Phoenix better. I like the idea of the Phoenix. I can't wait for her to actually put those out for sale. Have you guys seen those?
I have. I've seen the videos on them. Yes.
Yeah,
that's actually
pretty
just
cool.
Katie made me a Dream Sky box, and I absolutely love that box. AM, FM, linear, random. It's in any mode, it's successful.
Oh yeah,
I absolutely love it.
Oh yeah, man. Those Dream Skies are pretty good too. Actually, I like those radios.
Very clear, small. They're fantastic. I love their AM random. Oh, so nice.
Oh, I know. The AM random is what got me. I was like, dude, who the fuck can figure that out except for Ron Ricketts?
Right.
Now her.
Yeah,
like amazing.
Yeah, Katie's there. Katie's on that level. Absolutely.
I know. I can't wait to see the kind of stuff she does, that she comes up with in the future, man. Like the Phoenix, getting back to that, man, like that's just literally random words that are just sweeping randomly. Just like, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I'm ready for that.
Yeah.
Because that's not, you're just looking for one word answers. Like you're looking for a sentence out of that. Yeah. It's just like random words going out there.
And just to pass a message to our audience, please, we'll provide links to get a hold of Austin or myself or Rob to get you a boutique ghost box. And obviously, we'll start with Austin. He knows everyone. Rob's on the show, but just get a hold of us. We will definitely get you to the right people: Katie, Steve, KD, Jay, everyone. So
I'm going to put together a group here soon. That was one of the things that I'm working on. So we will basically have everybody, they can display their boxes. We can maybe have experiment night or something like that via Zoom or something. I want to do something where it's all ITC based and we can have, discussions, things like that, do some demos, do different things like that, but I'll get that page going.
Yeah, that'd be great.
What are you doing on September 11th?
I was supposed to go to your event.
Oh, are you coming?
I got to check on some things. September, because I know in October.
Who just whispered September?
I did.
Okay.
Oh no, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I didn't say that. In October, I'm supposed to go to Colorado, but I'll let you know. I was talking to Tim Woolworth about it.
Yeah, I don't know. How much did he tell you about
it? Just a little bit.
Just a little bit?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
He said he said that there's going to be a lot of people there. It would be worth my while to go.
Well, currently I have pretty much I haven't even announced the guests yet.
I don't say it. I mean, I know some of them, so don't say it. Just wait. I'll help you promote it.
You need to bring that guy.
Okay.
This guy below. Right there.
Oh, right.
I told him he needs to come out. He's like, no, dude, there's no way. I can't get off work.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, you know what? If I got people from New Jersey taking an RV to come out for this thing for 2 days, I think you can come out for 2 days.
Man. Being put on the
and
spot.
Rob can drag you for this particular, this once, first time ever kind of deal.
Yeah.
I will tell you, the funeral home, the owner of it is so on board with the paranormal and what I'm doing for him and what we're doing for him. He's actually wired the entire house, individual rooms with intercom speaker systems to where two-way. Wow. So we're actually going to hook up microphones and speakers in each room and have it all lead down to a multi-channel mixer in a closet underneath the staircase, which can also be ran out to the separate garage. And the garage, it was converted into a recording studio back in the 90s. So it has a soundproof booth inside.
Now you're talking my language.
And so the whole thing is that, well, listen, I told you about all this, Josh.
No, I'm just pulling your pigtails.
Listen, though. The whole idea is that I'm going to have the top minds in the field in ITC. I'm going to have some of the top builders out there. And apparently Tim's bringing out a retired builder.
Yeah. Yep.
Did he tell you about that?
Yep.
Oh, dude,
that's why I said I know. That's why I said I know who it is.
I don't know who it is, but I think I might know who it is.
Chicago Spirit Wave, brother.
Yes. I was so hoping so. Yes. Oh, I love the Radio Spectre.
Now you have to come out.
Yeah, now
that's gonna be the first time he's been out at a paranormal event in years.
I've been meaning to kind of get onto him a little bit and be like, so about your awesome ghost boxes that no one's heard about in a while. I mean, come on, man. I mean, I know he's a musician, he's got a lot of different interests, but please keep building ghost boxes.
Dude, you know how badly the PRD 1000 was the first ghost box I ever wanted. It's the first ghost box I was ever interested in back in like 2015.
Right.
Josh used to have one.
Dude, I want one so bad.
I have one with the Radio Spectre AM TRF tuned radio frequency in it. The FM was taken out.
Oh.
But it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I have nothing but amazing things to say about it.
I just want him to build me something. Just one. I don't care if I'll pay you whatever. Just unretire for one box for me, man. Come on.
A kidney might do it. If you have a kidney or something, I don't know.
I'm hoping he will, especially after he comes to this event.
Right.
I'm hoping that I might inspire him enough to maybe
do it.
Break out the soldering iron for one more box. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, every model of his boxes were successful in some way or another. And just I loved when he came out the tuned radio frequency AM. That was just in my area. It worked so well, and the voices come through are just pulled out of the static just so cleanly. Such a clean response.
Oh yeah. But I mean, my whole idea though is like to have these guys in the same place at the same time. We're one experiment, one whole house audio experiment where we have this multi-channel system where I could have Rob, Steve, Jay, KD, all these different people there. I just announced several of the guests. Connect their ghost boxes to this system, and we can have Rob's box playing into that room, and his box playing into that room, and his box into that room, and we can do Estes method galore, by the way. We can do mix and match with the rooms. We could have one box going through the entire house, and I'm selling tickets for test subjects to where these people are going to come out and be the guinea pigs of this experiment. And the thing is that this experiment is going to be the first time in history that this many builders are going to be in the same place at the same time doing the same experiment.
Right. It's incredible.
Dude, just let me know when, and I'll be there.
September 11th.
All right.
September 10th and 11th. That's when it's going to be. It's going to be a 2-day thing. The first day is not going to be accessible to the public. It's going to be the builders and all the guys putting together the experiment in the morning, and then we're going to let the shit run and record and operate until the next day when the public is going to be allowed in. And there's only going to be a limited amount of public tickets, like 15 max.
Now, is this closest to which airport would I fly into? Cleveland?
Cincinnati, probably.
Probably. Okay.
Actually, Rob, if you're gone that weekend, I can run the Saturday show.
No, dude, you're coming with.
What are you talking about? I kind of want to run the Saturday show.
Hey, Josh, you're coming with, and you're going to run the Saturday show from the location.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Yeah. Okay.
By the way, I have to make a mention because Katie Stafford, Kat, is texting me and blowing up my phone right now. Katie, yes, I did tell you about this event. Don't give me that shit.
Oh, one of the hosts doesn't know they're hosting.
Ooh, she doesn't even know. It's like, she's like, oh, yeah, you didn't tell me about this. Yes, I did. September 11th, Katie. The Static Voices Paranormal event. God. Come on. We've talked about this a million times.
Apparently not.
Sorry, she was texting me and blowing up my phone.
No, it is relevant that one of the hostesses doesn't know she's hostessing. Hostessing.
She's all freaking out. Look, she's throwing up mad faces up. Hold on.
Is she?
Yeah.
Don't even give me that, Katie.
It's a lot to find out for the last second, so you better tell everyone.
Especially when I've talked to her about it at least 5 different times, and we've planned for it. And
I don't know if
she
it's 5.
I mean, she's got so much going on herself that it's like I'm surprised that she has her head. If she did, like, she would lose her head if it wasn't attached to her. Like, seriously.
We're all a little bit like that, I think, to some degree.
Sorry.
Exactly.
I mean, look what we're working with here: broken radios and white noise. So I mean, come on, we all share that in common, you know.
But I mean, it's just the possibilities with this experiment, with this event, with all of this. I mean, it's so, like, I can't even comprehend the capabilities that we will have if we have all of these guys at the same place at the same time with a whole house audio system available to them, with pick and choose what room, whatever, you know. We can send this person up to a certain spot and have a ghost box running through the entire house, or we could have a person on each floor listening to 3 different ghost boxes and seeing what the audio compares, or how the audio compares, see what the responses are like. We could do an Estes method from the recording studio, at the soundproof recording studio, by the way. We could do an Estes method, have somebody in that room asking questions to the people in the house, or vice versa. I mean, there's just so many different things that we can do.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's going to be amazing. Yeah. We still need to. I'm trying to get the Holtes on here.
Ghostbox Legends.
I need to get Jay on here. I need to get KD on here.
Ghostbox Legend.
There's so many people that, if you guys want to get on the show, just let me know. We'll set up a date. I know the Holtes can't until, like, what did they say? June, maybe?
And that's why I was holding off the series, because I was trying to move in chronological order, and I wanted to address, you know, Frank, Steve, Bruce, Rich, Bill, you know, Joe, Ron, kind of in that area of the 2000 to 2007, 2010 range. So yeah, I think we should wait until Steve can hop on to continue the series. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I think we should just keep trying to do, you know, ITC sessions, because I know I want to do. There's a couple of guests I do want to have on. They've been asking, so we're going to talk about something new that we'll be working on. So that'd be part, you know, like stage 1 of a paranormal series. So I kind of want to get everybody scheduled by probably like by the middle of June.
Okay. Yeah, that works. And Austin will be back. We'll definitely have him back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if he wants to come back.
And if you ever have anything to promote, Austin, just let me know.
Yeah, please.
You really want to do that? I'll bombard you.
Listen,
it's every day, brother.
We're in the same circle. We're all friends, so you know our show is your show.
And like what you said, we're trying to take the ITC community back. It's gotten to a place. It's gotten to a place to where we need to get it back. It's gotten way out of control.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, actually. There was and I'm only going to ask this as an observer from the outside, right? So when you say taking the ITC field back, and then you also said something a few weeks ago about people faking things.
Yep.
Or like faking ITC sessions.
Yep.
And I was curious about that. Like, who the hell still fakes ITC sessions?
There's a lot. So when Huff, sorry, I just called somebody else's name out.
Is Huff even still in this field? I don't care. I'll say his name. Huff. Huff has been shunned by the paranormal community, and that's just a fact. Okay, like the real paranormal community has shunned him because it's a guitar amp and pedals. That's it. There's nothing more that he does, and he also puts dead celebrities' voices into this app, has it go through reverse speech, and claims he's speaking to them because that's the only voice that comes through. People, get with it. Raw audio.
There it is.
When that person is calling out other people that they're faking their evidence or their sessions. It's gotten to that where there's like 12 people just like him. If not, they've gotten even bigger than him. And he doesn't like it.
Garcia?
What's that?
Garcia?
No. There's I don't want to say their names. They're all. If you look,
we're way past that, man. Just
if you look on
open
TikTok,
Rob, open the noise gate and let it out. Open the noise gate and let it out.
Open the floodgates, man.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
So there's somebody called Cody ITC. There's
Happy Droid, among others.
There's quite a few. There's quite a few.
I mean, I can name a few that I think are bullshit and copying other people. I don't care.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I mean, we want
no. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I just don't know their names. I mean, I know like the Cheeto guy, Katie's favorite. He's a Cheeto guy. He looks like he's
okay, you guys.
But anyway, I mean,
Josh, I deal with PR. That's all I do, man. Relax.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what line we're walking right now, but I'm definitely sweating a little bit. But okay,
I am
proceed.
Anyway,
Proceed.
But these people have gotten away. Even now are trying to communicate with dead pets, and they're talking. Pets. They're coming back and talking in English, and it's like. So I did a spoof on that last week. And it's just like crazy. Oh my God, it's so bad. So bad.
Well, I will throw this out there though. How do you know that they're not doing it?
Yeah,
doing
Rob,
what?
How do you know that they're not faking?
How do you know that they're not communicating with these pets?
Right.
How do you know that Rob, pets can't do that?
I don't know.
Not to necessarily like rain on your parade there, Rob, because I'm not trying to do that. But I will say that considering that we don't know how this all works, we're just fucking guessing. Let's just be honest.
I know.
I mean, who knows? Maybe pets, maybe animal spirits animals have the ability to change the way that they can communicate in the afterlife. Maybe their physical bodies, because we talk about reincarnation, right? Like how some people believe that they are transformed into animals, into cows, into bugs, whatever. People believe that. So who's to say that your dog couldn't be somebody in a previous life that was just put into a dog's body? I mean, I know it's outrageous to think about, but maybe.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just...
Like
here's my thing. No, with the whole thing about people faking sessions, when you can actually pull up the audio or the interview recordings that they are using, and it's word for word, and then they talk about a certain thing that a celebrity is saying, and then you're like, I know exactly what they were doing because that's the video that I used to do a spoof on these interviews, on these sessions. And I'm finding all of these clips. And I was like, oh my God, that's where they're getting it from. That's where this person got it from. That's where this person got it from. And it's just crazy. No, I know. And that's all it is. It's all about this. That's all what it's about. They're trying to get all of those views just for easy cash.
Well, and that's that's probably the biggest fault with the paranormal field, really, is just that it's subjective. It's all perception based. It's all about how you view it versus how they view it. And what's evidence to you is not necessarily evidence to them, and vice versa. But it is, I know it's frustrating, especially as people who are passionate about ITC and really do this. It is frustrating to see these guys coming here with these things and claim that they're the only ones that can use a ghost box to communicate with the dead.
Right.
Or the people that you're the one that invented the ghost box. Like when you just recently came out, like in 2020. Like, who are you?
I saw that claim and I
invented the ghost box. Like, don't give me that crap.
Right.
But the thing is that this is purely a money scheme. It's purely money. They're trying to take advantage of people that have lost somebody, that are desperate for answers, and they're going to go to anybody that will provide them something.
Right.
And it's a shame. And that's the thing. The problem is people like don't understand the difference. People don't recognize frauds when they wouldn't recognize them.
Yeah.
And so how do you differentiate except continue to try to show them legitimate things and hope that they are smart enough to realize that they're being played by this other, you know what I mean?
And that's the thing. Like, I've proven that you don't have to fake evidence. It'll come. It will come.
Yeah, we've been proving it since the 1950s. So
my thing is, if you have to fake evidence, that means you're a horrible investigator.
Exactly.
I mean, really, you have no connection with the spirit world. You have no openness to it. You're just, I mean, like, what are you doing?
It's for everyone. It's not specific to anyone. And that's what's so confusing. It's like, wait, anyone can turn on a radio and dedicate patience and time and perseverance. And eventually you're going to get the communication. It happens for everyone at some point.
Well, and that's part of why, the whole reason I use celebrities and try to divert that attention when I have it.
Right.
Because, I mean, not that these guys don't deserve the spotlight for what they've done in the field. There are many that do. But, there's also other people that are genuinely doing innovative work, innovative research that are trying to take the field a little further than we've been over the last decade, because we've been at a standstill. It's more than a decade, I think. We've been at a standstill for a long time with regards to actual understanding of what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, how many different forms of a REM pod are we going to see? How many different forms of an EMF detector or a static detector? I mean, what the hell? Like, why isn't anybody looking into life energy or radionics or even looking into I know that dark matter is still a theory, but like if they're able to prove dark matter, I mean, what path would that lead us on? Because literally dark matter is everything that fills the void. Everything between you and I, everything between me and the next physical object in front of me is filled with dark matter.
Right.
So think about that. Like, let's start exploring these ideas instead of the only, like, ghosts use EMF, ghosts use static. Like, how do we know that? We're just assuming that based on what? Like, what does a K2 meter really do? It tells you fluctuations in the EMF field. It doesn't tell you how strong an EMF signal is. It tells you fluctuations. That's what a K2 does. A millimeter will tell you readings. A K2 does not. And that's where, like, it's misunderstandings. It's just not understanding, like, how things work, and then also assuming that this is how it works.
Right.
And that's where the field is stuck.
Yeah.
Because we don't look past the EMF and the static and the, whatever.
Like Barry Fitzgerald and I had a long conversation years ago. It was about full spectrum. And he was on to something. And I was noticing certain things at certain points of time where, it was just funny how when you would see apparitions, when you wouldn't, things like that, and how the full spectrum range affects apparitions and things like that. So he was on to some crazy stuff. And then all of a sudden he just like disappeared because he just got fed up with everything that's going on right now. And it's not advancing.
We've lost a lot of great minds to that.
Yep.
Just drama and...
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Literally, how many builders have we lost to that? How many great builders have we lost in the field because of that?
Quite a few. The least amount of people in the field, and I can even name a few.
Like, I mean, think about Andy Openlander. I don't know. I think Joe died before he really fell into all that stuff. But
he did, yeah.
I mean, but even now, William Pimblott is out.
Yeah, what happened to Mastercraft, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Doug Pimblott.
He's
Doug is the guru when it comes to circuitry, bro. Like, he is the man.
I had a brief conversation or two with him about guitar pedals. We just talked about that because we kind of had that. We shared that in common, and he knows a tremendous amount of information. He started talking in a language even I was like, I'm gonna have to go look that up. Can you hold on a second? So
because I think what he does, he actually works for a like a speaker company or something. He refurbishes old speakers and electronics, and so he actually builds his own guitar pedals and shit. Like, it's amazing.
Oh, there you go.
But like, this dude understands circuitry on a level that, like, I can't even understand. Like, you ever heard of a Westboro device?
Yes, but I can't tell you I know what it is. I've heard the name.
It's band jumping, basically. Like, basically, he was developing something called the Westboro Heaven's Gate.
Okay.
And this device was literally randomly jumping between AM and FM as it swept.
Oh. Ooh.
Think about that.
Wow.
Like, where it's going to go FM for like 3 stations, switch over to AM, 2 stations, back to FM, back to AM, back to FM. He was developing it, and he has a couple videos on his YouTube channel too for it. But like,
look at that.
He's out now, and it's like, God, like, why, dude? Like, that's the one thing I have been looking for so long. I want band jumping more than anything else in this entire field. I want something that can jump randomly from AM to FM to shortwave to AM to, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, think about when you lay out the frequency, when you lay out the radio frequency spectrum as a whole, it goes all the way from AM all the way up to microwave.
Mm-hmm.
And microwave is technically a radio frequency. Mm-hmm. Most people don't know that.
Right.
But it is. And you lay them out, and you can see how it increases along the range. And I want to figure out a way, I think would be really cool, if somebody could figure out how to lay out the entire spectrum on a single receiver. Somehow, some way, figure out how to do that and be able to sweep that.
Okay.
Now we're talking ITC. Now we're talking Ghost Box.
Yeah. Yeah. There would also be the process of analyzing and interpreting that, because that would be new to the field as well. So not just creating it.
If somebody's able to figure out how to sweep a Grundig, one of the 800 models.
Oh yeah, right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, where you can get into long wave. Like, that's the kind of radio I want to figure out how to sweep. And I know Steve actually has an 800 Grundig.
Oh, I had one. I sold mine not that long ago. Yeah.
And those things are sweet because they will actually sweep. Like, you just hold the button down, it sweeps.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You don't even have to do nothing. It doesn't mute it either. It's just like, it's amazing. I'm like, dude, why? Yeah. I asked Steve that too. I'm like, dude, why don't you just bust this out every time you do a Ghost Box session? That's what I do.
Right.
I don't know.
I used to use mine a lot, and then I just stopped using it. And then I was just sitting there, so I posted it up on eBay, and it sold like so quick.
Right.
I love the work that like Ron Iacovetti is doing, and Ron and Lords, the DRV stuff that they do.
Oh,
I think that's fascinating too, because he's up in the long wave frequencies. Like I think he said something around like 222 kilohertz, something like that. Or he's way up in the long wave, and I know he's been
22 kilohertz. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, you know what I know.
Right, okay, right. I was like, wait, I'm adding zeros.
Very. Don't trust my judgment when I tell you kilohertz, megahertz. I don't know.
All right. So no problem. All right.
I know it's one of those.
Right.
But he's working with that stuff, and like he says, he's been getting some interesting responses at 222. But you have to have a long wave radio to be able to do that, and like you have to have a Grundig world band, and that's like, man, to find a radio for like a Grundig world band, like a 750 or higher, I mean, you're paying $300 minimum.
Yeah,
minimum.
Yeah. Those are still trading on eBay, right?
Yeah, you can find them on eBay.
Right.
Once in a while, you'll find them for like $250. Yeah. I think I think I sold mine for like $375 or something like that.
Oh yeah. If you buy them brand new, like one of the 800 models, you can buy for like 600 something brand new.
Right.
But like, I mean, you have to really be like, that takes a special type of buyer, I think. if I want to buy a 750 or an 800 Grundig.
Right.
Like, you got to be really into radio communication.
Exactly. Yeah, the general public, I don't think, knows about those radios, or even that those radios exist. To some large extent, at least for ITC.
Yeah, it's I mean, they're really not well-known radios for, like, I mean, those are really specialized. Like, you have to really be interested in radio communication to be able to even to find those Grundig 800s and, even want to buy one of those or spend that kind of money on it. Because who the hell wants to buy a $600 radio? Nobody really wants to go out there and spend that much money on a radio unless they have a specific, like a special interest in that kind of radio communication.
Right. Radio collectors that aren't into ITC, if there is such a thing. I'd imagine there's such a thing.
Oh, yeah. But it's still a very small market.
Right.
Very small.
Oh, yeah.
But I think if we were able to, if you had somebody, man, if you wouldn't have sold that, Rob, you could have just opened that bitch up. Figured something out, right?
I kind of regret selling it, but you know what? It was just one of those things that was sitting here. I was like, I'll probably never use it. And got rid of it.
And I bet it's kicking you in the ass right now, especially
it is.
Telling you about why.
Yeah.
No, it has been. I mean,
passively
I just brought it up with Josh, last week or the week before about that radio?
Yeah. You know what? You're right. We did. We talked about it last week. You're absolutely right. That's right. Yeah. We saw those a lot on YouTube, probably in the, 2010? I remember.
Yeah, it was about 2010.
Somewhere around there.
I think that's about when I picked it up.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I think that I know that you can still find them everywhere. I mean, you can find the little hand crank models. You can find they're all over the place.
Yeah.
A lot of those, the smaller ones, like the 350s or less, are usually, you can find them for under $100 on eBay or Facebook Marketplace, whatever. But when you start getting into the higher model numbers, the 450s, the 500s, the 750s, all those, that's when they start. They really start going up in price, like way faster than you'd like it to.
Yeah.
It's like it'll go from $60 to $300 with an increase of a model, and it's like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love them, man. I want to do more. I want to do more with DRV. I think DRV is is really where we need to be looking more. But we got to figure out a way that we can. We got to find new ways to explore DRV besides just tuning it to a dead station and hoping, right? I know Jay is working on something. He's been working on DRV for a long time. Basically where he's just trying to eliminate all reception from the radio to where it has to be an insanely strong signal, or you got to be within 20 feet of this box or this radio in order for it to actually get anything. So it's just scanning 10,000 plus dead frequencies. And when you get a voice through that, that's some DRV right there. And his direct links, I have had instances where I've had DRV come through, and the only reason I know it's DRV is because of the echo and reverb that he has built into the direct link itself. And when you have everything that's coming through that radio has echo and reverb, except you got this one voice that comes through that doesn't. Circuitry works a certain way. There's no getting around the echo and reverb board before the speaker.
Okay.
Right? It goes from tuner. Not necessarily specifically in this order, but it goes tuner, the amps, the preamps, the echo reverb board, out the speaker. It has to go through all that before it goes through the speaker. So it doesn't come out of the speaker unless it's got echo and reverb. But when I got a little girl's voice come through, then it doesn't have echo and reverb.
Oh, interesting. Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's the only time I can tell when it's DRV versus, coming from the tuner. And that's something he's really working on with, he's been trying to develop a DRV box for years. And I think he says he's only really happy with one. He's built one that he's happy with. And when I say he's happy with it, like he's let it run for like 4 or 5 straight days with a recorder next to it and hasn't gotten a single voice.
Right.
Like that he's happy with that. But he's having a lot of trouble recreating it and replicating it and trying to do it again. So like he hasn't even put it out there for anybody to like even know about, or I mean he's talked about it but not like really put it out there.
Okay.
But like I think that's why I love that's why I don't like noise suppression. Because I think noise suppression just kills that static and the chance of the DRVs. A DRV, I saw somebody comment DRV, a direct radio voice. Meaning like it's not coming from the tuner. It's not coming from the radio itself. It's coming after that.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's hard to separate a lot of times because, especially when you have a radio that's picking up reception, like it's hard to figure it out. But like one of the ways is obviously like having an echo and reverb board on after the tuner on these boxes, to where you can figure out, okay, if it came from the tuner, it has echo and reverb, and we know it because that's how circuitry works. There's no getting around it. It only works one way. There's no other way around it. Like it really isn't. But when you actually have these voices coming in that don't have these effects, there's other ways you can do it too, but that's just one of the ways.
Marcello Bacci popularized direct radio voice, and he, I believe, used an old tube radio. And instead of scanning, essentially, he would remain on one frequency, an interfrequency, and basically record that. And he did that in front of a room full of people, and they all witnessed it. So DRV has been around for a long period of time, and I would imagine probably since the 1970s. I'm trying to approximate the time period, but we've had that for almost 50 years now. In terms,
really, ever since ham radio, right? Really, ever since ham radios became a thing.
Well, good point. Yeah, ham radio. Yeah, DRV is actually popular with ham radios as well. Yeah, you're right.
Actually, we're going to have to go back further than what you said, because you think about Tesla. Talk about Tesla. Tesla was getting DRV.
Okay.
Edison was getting DRV.
I stand
That's the whole reason that's the whole thing that Edison was doing, right?
Right. And I meant in modern day ITC, Marcello Bacci was more of the hero of that. But yeah, if we're going to go back that far, then yes, absolutely. Tesla, Thomas Edison. In fact,
I think Edison was really the one that was like with radio frequencies, because Tesla was more electricity.
Correct.
Edison was really messing with radios, and the thing, in Edison's time, there was no 92.5 KISS FM or whatever. You know what I mean? There was none of that.
Right.
Like the radio signals were just dead. Everything was dead during that time. So when he's getting voices, and he thought he was talking to what, interdimensional beings or aliens or something.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But that was technically a DRV.
It's a good point. And now it sounds like Jay is returning, modernizing that even one step further as we've moved along in time. I'm excited to see what he's working on. I know you said only one he's really happy with right now, but I'd be really excited to see what he's working on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. It's fascinating stuff. And I wish that, I have been bugging him to build me one for years, but obviously, he's not happy with it. He doesn't want to send out something that he's not happy with.
Right. No, and that makes sense.
But speaking of noise suppression, we should get to the noise gate topic.
Do we have time for that, to cover that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got 30 minutes.
Okay. And yeah, I'm kind of dropping what I call Josh's boredom bomb or something to that effect, because this is basically me kind of educating for 15 minutes. And this was by request of our audience. They liked the education that we had delivered last show, and they wanted us to step up the technical aptitude. So I'm going to take it up one level, and I want to get some feedback from the audience. You'll let me know it's too much, it's not enough, or bring in calculus and algebra next time. And let's really break everything down. So you'll let me know how much is too much. But essentially, for a period of time, people have approached me and they wanted to know my take objectively as an audio engineer of what I thought of noise suppression and noise gate via guitar pedals in an audio signal flow for radio-based ITC. And I never said anything public about it. I had my own personal opinions about it, but objectively, what do I think? And I took some notes, and I wanted to present those very objectively, fairly, no personal emotion involved. But it's important to consider all aspects of this type of audio signal flow before you engage in it for ITC research. You really want to know everything that it's doing and that it's not doing. To start, the common theme here is noise. And by definition, noise is an irregular fluctuation in an electronic signal that's not supposed to be there. It's just a fluctuation that's not supposed to be there. And radio noise suffers from two types of noise. We deal with atmospheric electromagnetic noise, and we deal with thermal noise. So essentially, the atmospheric noise is anything outside of the radio that might deliver noise to the antenna or circuitry, or thermal noise, which is the electrons moving in the circuit, which can be measured and detected. They actually give off a heat signature. So we have thermal noise, which is natural in the radio, and we have the atmospheric noise. So those are the two types of noise that make up radio noise that we're talking about. And that's essentially what people are trying to. Now, this brings us to the noise gate. What is a noise gate? A noise gate is essentially a volume control that's delivered by an electronic device or piece of software that sets a decibel threshold for the input audio, and essentially says, we're going to put a threshold here, and nothing below that threshold will be heard. But if anything's louder than this decibel threshold, it's going to surface on top, and you'll be able to hear it. Now, this is opposite of a compressor, because a compressor attenuates signals above the volume threshold. A noise gate attenuates signals below that volume threshold. And what's interesting to note about a noise gate, and what I'd like you to keep in mind, is the noise gate doesn't necessarily eliminate all of the noise from the audio signal. When that gate opens and the audio comes through that threshold, you're still going to hear a piece of that noise. So it's really meant as a volume control for an audio signal. And what's really important to remember too is that a noise gate is really meant for a consistent. Oh, I'm getting feedback. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I know. Hold on. I'm trying to get rid of that echo.
Thanks, man.
All right, go for it now.
Okay. So a noise gate is essentially designed for a type of noise that is consistent in amplitude and frequency. Think of an air conditioning unit, or think of a low hum from a motor in an industrial complex. It sounds like this. You have a predictable, consistent noise that you want to eliminate, and a noise gate is perfect for that. But when you think about that in ITC, we're dealing with random noise and random frequency. A noise gate is really meant to squash, again, a predictable noise, and we don't really want to apply that in the situation of random white noise or random frequency with ITC. Now, Rob, can you pull up the graph I have of the noise gate? I'd like to show a visual representation of what's going on. Please. Thank you. Okay, perfect. Now, this is a very, very basic diagram of a noise gate. And we have, I don't know what everyone's understanding of a basic graph is, but I want to explain that we have basically an X and Y axis. Time is located on the X axis, and the level is located on the Y axis. You notice the output level, which is the red dotted line. That is the output level when the noise gate is activated, when the pedal is turned on. If you look above that, you see a blue line, and that's called the input level, which is the output level of the radio turned into the input level for this pedal. Now, even though that's the input level, I want you to visualize that blue line, as if the pedal were off. In other words, the red dotted line is the pedal being on. The input level is the pedal being off. So the waveforms look differently with the pedal on and pedal off. Here's the point of concern I want to point out. If you look at the area of attack right above the A in the letter of attack, you see the red dotted line move up at an angle, which is probably splitting that rectangle in half. This is the amount of time it takes to open the door of the gate. So it takes time to let the sound through and open the door. If you notice, the input level goes up at a 90-degree level. Essentially, we would hear the sound immediately if we didn't use the noise gate. But because the noise gate's on, it takes time, and you can see the red dotted line moving to the right. You can see it hit the threshold line. That's the dotted line going across. That's the volume we've set in the noise gate. Now, I'd like to point something out. If you look to the left of the red dotted line, the output level, and just below the threshold, black dashed line, there's an area of ambiguity. There's a triangle here. And Rob, can you move your mouse over that area? Is that possible? To the left a little bit. Left, right there. Right to the right. To the right, to the right, to the right, to the right, to the right. Right there, right there. That triangle in there is the area of ambiguity, because the first consonant or vowel of the first letter of the first word risks being cut off there. With the input level going straight up, we hear that consonant or vowel right away. With the attack taking its time to open the door to get the sound out, we may miss the phonetical clarity of that consonant or vowel of the first letter of the first word. So it can make the difference of this. Tony, t, t, pony, p, p, phony, f, f. The body of the word is the same, but the first consonant or vowel may be lost to ambiguity in this area. You see the same issue with the release over to the right and how the door takes its time to close. We may miss communication in that point of time. If we didn't use the red dotted line or the noise gate being on, the communication we would hear would be the blue line, and we wouldn't have to deal with that threshold. We would hear all of the communication. Now, let me give you a real world example that will really make sense. We all have a hallway in our house, and we have a bedroom of some kind, no matter where you live. Grab a friend or a family member. I want you to stand in the hallway and face the door of the bedroom. And I'd like the other person to stand in the bedroom and face the door as well. So you're facing each other, but there's a door in between you, okay? Now the person inside the room is going to open and close a door while the person in the hallway is reading a sentence, okay? So the person's opening and closing the door as the person starts to read a sentence. That's experiment number one. Experiment number two is this. Have the person in the hallway read the sentence and leave the door open. Now tell me this. Which experiment are you going to hear more phonetical clarity and accuracy? Is it when the door is completely open and you can hear every phonetical vowel and consonant? Or is it going to happen when someone's opening and closing a door? Here's another example. Can you hear when I talk like this? Can you hear the words when I talk like this? A noise gate, and I'm simulating. Do you see what I'm saying? We are losing phonetical clarity and accuracy because this miracle of communication is coming in, and someone decided to add a complexity and open a door and close a door while this communication is coming in. It really is a disservice to ITC research. It may be beneficial in music, but it's just not phonetical. It doesn't provide phonetical accuracy or clarity, and we risk losing out on a lot of communication. Rob, can you pull up the second diagram with the noise suppressors? Please, and thank you. Sorry, Austin. I'm almost done. Okay, here we go. These are two of the most common noise suppressors that I've seen being used in the audio signal flow for radio-based ITC guitar pedal setups, or guitar amp setups. I want to point out some of the marketing language. Let's look at the Boss NS2. That's the top noise suppressor. Used by more guitarists. Let's just stop right there. Used by more guitarists. Why? Because it's a guitar pedal. Why? Because it's been designed to work with unbalanced guitar cables. It's been designed to work with the resonant frequency of the pickups in a guitar. And it's been prepared to accept the impedance load of the output level of a guitar. Not an armband radio. No, not an armband radio. It was not designed for that. Let's go down to the ISP Technologies Decimator 2, which is a popular one that's used in these types of rigs. And let's go ahead and read this. And we know how marketing and sales will exaggerate descriptions sometimes. With a single threshold knob as the only control, the well-built ISP Decimator 2 works extremely well to fix a noisy rig with little tone degradation at all, but the highest setting. Little tone degradation. It doesn't say no tone degradation. It doesn't say we've left your quality of your audio intact perfectly. And I can tell you as an audio engineer, it's not a little, it's a lot. And the reason why we don't use these a lot in the studio is because we have to spend time adding back frequency and tone and color to the guitar. And we tend to, if we're using a noise reduction, we'll draw a frequency by hand and custom tailor it to the device, the input device. But that's besides the point. This device here, the Decimator 2, is not only saying, now listen, I'm going to open and close a door during this really difficult communication. And while I'm opening and closing this door while you're communicating, I'm going to distort the color and tone of your audio. Why? Why do we want to open and close a door during communication? When you have to talk to a friend and you say, hey man, I got to talk to you. Let's head over to the door. And the two of you stand in between a door and open and close it as you're talking? What? Who? It doesn't make any sense. So these pedals really were not designed for our research field or ITC research. This kind of leads me to noise suppression. I haven't seen noise suppression pedals that much in the audio signal flow, but I just want to bring up, there's two definitions you do need to be aware of if you do decide to go down this route. Noise suppression aims to enhance or analyze the audio signal to improve it from the noise. And noise reduction actually is the process of removing noise from the signal. So there's two different approaches by going off of that. And these pedals are used. If to do them properly, you need to know the parameters, the Q, which is the width of the area that you're affecting, the smoothing, which removes the high frequency components regardless of amplitude, and the denoise, which removes the small amplitude components regardless of their frequency. There's so many variables to consider to properly do this if you absolutely have to use noise reduction in your pedal setup or in your ITC setup. Let me get to my observations and conclusions. And Rob, can you put up our last page? Thank you. Here it is. People have asked me to go on record on this. I don't know why, but I am. And these are just my observations, objectively, what I noticed. Noise gates via guitar pedals implemented in radio-based ITC audio signal flows only allow communication above a set decibel threshold to surface and be observed by the listener, effectively eliminating communication below the said decibel threshold. The breakthrough in fragmentative communication, including whispers, mid to low decibel layered voices, and signal tests are all completely eliminated below that set decibel threshold. And we saw that in the diagram, how everything below that threshold would be eliminated. And those are crucial frequencies for phonetical accuracy and clarity. Noise suppression via guitar pedals, implemented in radio-based ITC audio signal flows, is inherently inappropriate. Different radios have different peak resonant frequencies via the antenna and internal circuits, which are not accounted for by noise suppression and noise gate pedals, resulting in crucial vocal frequencies being reduced or diminished. Lost or diminished frequencies reduce phonetical accuracy and clarity of the consonants and vowels as the communication passes through the attack and decay stages of the noise suppression gate. And we saw that. We saw how the beginning of a letter in a word can lose its phonetical accuracy or clarity in the consonant or the vowel as the door is opening and closing. EQs via guitar pedal, outboard gear, software plugin, placed after a noise suppression pedal in an audio signal flow will not restore or return the original resonant frequencies of the raw audio signal, raw radio audio signal produced by the radio circuit and antenna. Thermal noise from the guitar pedal circuits adds unwanted noise and artifacts into the audio signal flow, depending on the pedal. It's very minimal. It's just something to consider. Noise suppression guitar pedals are designed to kill 60 hertz hum, unbalanced guitar cable noise, noise from impedance overloads, guitar tube amplifier noise, and are not properly designed for the vocal frequency response range. And although we can hear from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, our ears are most sensitive between 800 hertz and 5 kilohertz. And that is really where the vocal and guitar frequency range sits. But vocalists will more likely use a balanced cable and different type of options to support their voice. And they generally don't run through these types of noise suppression pedals. And we're talking about vocals, we're talking about vocal communication. I'm almost done, guys, I promise. Noise suppression guitar pedals employ cable capacitance issues via unbalanced guitar cables, which affect the tone and color of the audio signal. Guys, unbalanced cables add color and tone. I don't know, I can't change that. I don't make the rules. That's just what it is. Lastly, my last observation, input impedances from the radio to the guitar pedals to the amp create improper loading, which negatively affects proper gain staging. This reduces treble and overall level, most noticeable in higher frequencies. Improper input impedances have improper loading, and high frequency clarity is rolled off, and the signal to noise ratio diminishes. This basically means inherently the whole design is improper for impedance loading and proper gain staging. It's just not, they're not really designed to work together. Here is my conclusion, objectively, as an audio engineer. Are you guys still awake?
Yeah.
You guys okay? All right, just want to make sure. Here's my recommendation. If you're looking inherently for a radio with less noise to the operator, there's a few things you can do. You can have a boutique box that's built from the ground up inherently to produce less noise to the operator. One, you can select a radio design with a quieter analog radio circuit. And we've seen this at ITC Paranormal. They work with analog circuits, they're quieter, and that's really one of the things they've been working on for a long time, is to create a reliable, quiet analog circuit. Tuned radio frequency receiver with a demodulator circuit to extract the audio signal. We've seen this with Ron Ricketts Mini Box. We've seen this with Andrew Oppenlander's Chicago Spirit Waves Radio Spectre, that the audio is essentially almost surgically removed in a visual way from the static so you can hear it more properly. A timer chip, similar to a Texas Instruments T555, could be used to theoretically create a Schmidt trigger inverter gate, which converts a noisy input into a clean digital output. And this is similar to the technology that Joe Ciappi and Steve Holte implemented in the Joe's box, and our own Rob Hernandez is implementing in his boxes. Essentially, you can also use inverted waves in phase to cancel out noise, to leave it out of the output of the radio signal while still using it as a function to create those voices. You could employ a high quality buffer in the circuitry, a parallel buffer, to help the signal be less susceptible to noise. And I believe, and don't quote me, Austin, you may have to help me, Gary Galka from DAS may be doing this with the PSP7. I think, I don't know. I think he may be working with parallel buffers in the circuitry.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, I haven't opened one up, but I just listening to it, I'm like, kind of sounds like he went this direction, but I wasn't sure. And lastly, we can work with a digital audio workstation noise reduction plugin like MIC DSP and adjust each frequency band one by one and adjust the amplitude individually, which if you're going to use a noise reduction, you really need to have full control of the parameters and be able to custom draw your own frequency line for the specific radio or input that you're using. So my suggestion is this. First of all, be happy and love your life. And if you like using these devices or noise gate, do it. Who am I to tell you not to? Be happy. Objectively, as an audio engineer, you're giving us your trust and your time and your energy watching this podcast. So I objectively, as your friend and co-host, want to be very direct with you and say, it's if I had $250 to either set up a portal or a type of device that uses these noise gates or buy a boutique ghost box, 11 out of 10 times I'm buying a boutique ghost box. 11 out of 10 times I'm buying a boutique ghost box. I personally, subjectively, I don't use these. I would never use them in my research. I understand if you want to, and that's your choice. And these are just some of the observations I made by looking at these setups, and take it for what you will. Make your own decision and your own informed decision about what type of ghost box to use. Back to you, Rob.
I appreciate the hell out of that. I really do.
Thank you for that, Josh. That was cool.
I don't know. I hope so.
But no, that's what a lot of people wanted. So it's perfect.
I think Probably could have used layman's terms a little more, but
no, thank you for the feedback. I wasn't sure because they wanted the technical aptitude. They said, no, please get as technical as you can. I thought, okay,
I think next time you got to have a translator.
Or maybe just not talk. I'm fine just sitting here and knowing about it.
You absolutely need to explain all that technical stuff though, because there are people out there that listen that do understand what you're saying. But then there's also the other half, or the other 90% of the viewers that don't understand a single thing you just said.
Okay.
But if you had a translator, you have somebody that could say, okay, what he just said means
noise gate this. Right. Don't use noise gate. Okay.
So with that said.
Okay, hold on. Do you want me to can I conclude this really quick? Hold on.
Go for it.
Everyone come close to the camera. I'm not going to yell, okay? Okay. Everyone just listen, okay? Don't use unbalanced guitar cables. Don't use noise gates or noise suppressors. Buy a boutique ghost box. That's it. We're good.
So I also threw in a link to a video that I made a while back demoing how this same noise, the Decimator 2 works, and how other people use it to fake their evidence. And I kind of give a demonstration on when it's fully closed and when it's fully open. You will hear, yes, you're trying to take away all that white noise, but with doing that, all of the true a lot of the ITC responses that you're looking for are going to come in very low and very quiet. Yeah. So you're cutting out all of that.
Yeah.
And you're only leaving yourself less than 10% of what's coming through. And what you want to hear, you just cut out.
Right.
I concur.
I'm not going to talk anymore. You guys take the show.
Nah, I'm personally one of the people that, like, the thing I love about Halte's boxes is the ability. I mean, I love really any analog box that uses a sweep circuit of some kind. The ability to turn the sweep up to where, like, so fast that you don't even hear a single word come through. Like one of my favorite boxes is the RCA. That's the Steve's box.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the clarity and the reception of it are just amazing.
Yeah.
But I turn that sweep up so fast that the radio will stall, and then I dial it back just a tad. Oh, dude, it's like you don't even. Cool. The reason I like it so much is because you listen to the whole band at that point. And you're not listening to one word or two words. You're listening for a full sentence. Right. And every time you hear a loud burst of the static or the radio, the jarble coming out of the speaker, I mean, because it's going so fast, it doesn't even sound like anything. But when you actually listen to it, and I've even, I have a video on my page, I think, from the Detroit 6th Precinct building, right, where I was using it in the basement. And I had this thing going up so fast, and you were actually able to even hear an accent in the vocal. Like, it was amazing.
Right.
Because when I started playing it all out, I started dubbing it. I dubbed it in the video, or I did it best as I could, I guess, right? To what I think I hear. But when you actually listen to it, you can hear almost like there's one person speaking through the entire sentences, through the whole band as it sweeps. And it's telling a story. And you even hear this person almost has an eccentric kind of accent.
Wow, you can really tell the emotion behind the message. Yeah.
Like that's why it's so fascinating to me, because it's not even like you're getting a specific set of words that come through, random radio stations or even linear races. Like, you are actually listening. The entire band is what you're paying attention to, and you're not listening for one word response. Like, it's full communication, full conversation.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And obviously in the video, if you guys watch it, I got 90% of the responses wrong in real time. Like I was like I was saying, I swear it just said this, and like in the video I clearly dub it differently, and it's like, okay, I was wrong in the moment.
Right. That
But going back on it,
got to review
and watching the video now, I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
And like the more I have that, the more I steer towards these really fast sweeps, and that's one of the reasons why I love the mini ink box, the MIB.
Oh,
that
yeah.
You just got. Yeah.
I've had some success with that in the shortwave. You know, I haven't explored shortwave scanning that much, and I went out of LA County. I think I told you, Austin. I got to tell you, it was the first time something actually like jolted me. Like, what is that? Like, it was the first time I thought, like, is there an alien ship right above me? Because the sounds coming through and the communication was so far out, and I was scanning that thing pretty fast. I've tried all the sweep speeds through the entire range, but shortwave is fantastic, and it's thrilling. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's interesting and it's thrilling at the same time.
Shortwave, like really, I didn't even think about shortwave until the ink box, until he made the ink box, and me and I mean, really, he had messed around with it when he was testing it, but he was like, oh, you know, you can turn the AM, FM sounds fantastic, you know, and so but I turned it on shortwave 1, and I turned, you know, and I was scanning the whole band. And I realized, I mean, obviously, it only seems to work better at night because of the ionosphere.
Sure.
And the way, I don't know how it works, but that's apparently what affects
exactly.
the ionosphere. But I realized, like, we started getting, like, insanely intelligent, like, direct every single time a voice came through. And I don't know, I think it's because shortwave is more local, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe. And so it almost makes me wonder if because of the locality, it's able to pick up like the immediate vicinity easier than AM or FM would.
Interesting.
Because AM and FM obviously have been saturated with all the different stations bleeding through from however far away. But when you talk about shortwave, like it's a whole different, like you're really talking about the immediate vicinity. And how many people are really doing local broadcasting? How many people are really broadcasting on shortwave anymore?
Yeah, I mean, even in the LA area, there was only a few. But once you started scanning quickly, you started creating that faster sweep for the communication to differentiate itself. But there was a few. I was actually surprised how many there were, and you know, still involved in the hobby. But I see your point. Shortwave is not. I don't know if it's even really socially used anymore to really any extent, significant extent.
Right. I mean, yeah, there's a few like citizens broadcasts that, you know, those people that still have all the old radio equipment.
Right. Yeah. I was hearing some of that. Yeah. In Santa Clarita. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the old George Norrie, like before he got famous.
Right. That's a good example. Yeah. No, that's exactly it. Right.
Like, and that's just, it makes me wonder, at least, you know, because even when you think about long wave too, I mean, like, I feel like there's something with the wavelength and the locality, the vicinity. And I think obviously because AM and FM, I think that they can, in my opinion, is that they can use whatever radio band. It's just a matter of like whether you can interpret that versus actual radio broadcast,
right? Or
like separating the two sometimes can seem impossible,
right?
But
right.
When you get into like the short wave or the long wave, it makes me. I mean, it's something that needs to be explored more, and I'm glad you see it too. I mean, we've been playing around with it for a while, and we have one guy that comes through continuously. It doesn't matter where we are in the country.
Really?
We always get this same preacher guy that comes through, and we call him Mr. James. And he's not only come through for us, he's come through for people anybody that uses an ink box, really. It's amazing. They've all claimed
listen for him.
I've been reaching out to people about this. Wow. And we've had people report it.
Wow.
So why is it that somebody from Ohio takes their box over to Arizona and is getting it? Shortwave don't go that far.
Yeah, I can't answer that. I don't know. Really? All over the country too with the inkbox? Wow.
Well, there's a guy by the name of Joel Myers. He does Ghost Sight, NICAM. And he bought an inkbox a while back. I think last year he bought it, but he took it to Tennessee, he took it to Florida, he took it to Arizona, out to the Grand Canyon. And he was getting Mr. James coming through on shortwave 1.
Why would that happen? I need to think about that. I need to think about that.
But granted, the shortwave 1 versus shortwave 2, I mean, really, it's all one shortwave band. Right. It's just whether it's broken down into 2, or 9, or 7.
What time of day is this happening? Did he mention what time of day this is? Is this
it's always at night.
Oh, it is at night. Oh, wow, I can't imagine.
But even then, it makes me wonder, because if you're over on the West Coast. You know what I mean? When does the ionosphere start affecting you guys over there versus over here?
About 7:38 in the evening right now. my TRF AM band radios just completely switch over to Clear Channel, and I get sports score. I start getting the basketball games and stuff. It literally, like, every single time on the nose, it just bam, like it just stops. With the exception of a few radios, but yeah.
Well, see, like it's that time for you.
Right.
But I mean, would it be the same time for us over here, but 3 hours earlier? That's where I start. It starts getting really freaking complex, man.
Right? Yeah, I can't imagine
trying to understand
travel that far.
That.
Yeah, I don't.
It'll hurt your brain.
Yeah, it's hurting my brain, because even the little I understand about this, I can't see how any cause of the ionosphere would allow that signal to travel that far on shortwave. That's a tremendous distance.
But that's where I start to beg the question of Mr. James seems to be beyond. It doesn't seem to be a citizen's broadcast.
What are you implying then?
That Mr. James is somebody that comes through for multiple people using it through the. I mean, especially when you're taking it all over the country, and there's multiple people, all that have the same box,
right?
All reporting this guy from all over the country, reporting the same guy on shortwave.
Are they hearing a sermon being preached? Is it like he's in action preaching, or is it just saying hi? And what kind of communication?
He's preaching. He preaches about the devil. He preaches about repenting your sins. But like my partner Mike has kind of dug into this Mr. James a bit, and he seems to think that Mr. James isn't really as holy as he claims to be. But beyond that, the fact that this one voice, this one preacher guy, and he has kind of like a Southern country accent, but like an old, like a New Orleans or Southern church, they got the Southern preacher up there, it sounded like that, but he's like, repent your sins, all this stuff, and he'll tell you, and he will answer your questions and tell you why you need to like what you're doing. And that's what's amazing, is that this guy is literally talking to you.
It's a consciousness, right?
And it's like he's replying to you with a religious kind of answer,
and personal to your life, or knows something about your life and what you need to do. Correct?
Mm-hmm. To the situation, at least, even that you were in, and we're getting him in all over the country, and I can have people verify that.
No, I'm not doubting you. I'm just thinking of the complexity of the situation. Yeah, I'm on to the next step, thinking how, why, the other questions. That's amazing. I'm glad you shared this with us. I'm definitely going to be. I have a mini ink box. I mean, I'm going to be. What do you think I'm going to do when the show's over? So.
But see, the thing is, though, even with the mini ink box versus the ink box only has 2 shortwave bands.
Right.
So it's basically splitting that in half.
Right.
So now you got 7 on the mini ink box. So I guess maybe between 1 and 4, you got to figure out which one.
Exactly. And that could take time. I might even have to leave my immediate area due to RF and all sorts of interference in this area. But that's incredible. Rob, what do you think about that? That's incredible.
Yeah, no, that's kind of crazy, but that's kind of what we were saying about people that use my boxes always get Ed coming through, and they don't get it on any other box. And that's something that I started getting here. So it's just really strange on how other people in other parts of the world are getting that same name come through and only on my box.
Yeah, I get Ed through your boxes, Rob.
That's weird, actually. You know, anytime you buy a box from Halte, it's always going to say Steve Halte or something through the box.
Oh, yeah.
That is a... Do you have a Halte box?
I have the Dream Sky made by Katie, but I've heard Steve's name. I've heard Bruce's name. I've heard Katie's name. Yeah, I've definitely heard
That's why... That's one of the many reasons why... One of them, that I believe that a builder's energy matters.
Yeah, I believe that. There is something that we're obviously still researching, something about our consciousness, imprinted consciousness, possibly. I'm just saying as a theory.
You have somebody that's close to you, Rob, that do you have any connection to an Ed in your life?
I don't, but there is a spirit here. His name is Ed that's tied to this location. So
maybe where every box that you build, you're putting a piece of your energy, which in turn would be a piece of his energy because you live in his house.
Yeah. Well,
he has access to wherever, right?
Yeah. Here's a funny thing. Every box that I have ever sent out has always said the new owner's name as soon as they turn on the box.
I have 3 of your boxes. That's happened to me 3 times.
I can't verify if that's happened or not because I don't remember.
Oh, come on.
Dude, you know how many, okay. I remember turning Rob's box on. I remember when I first got the 2 that he sent me, the 2 RTCs. I turned them on, and I was playing around with it. Obviously, I love to figure out you turn the speed all the way up, and it just cuts out all the static altogether. And I mean, I remember I like that. I just don't remember exactly what the first thing that was said. I'm sorry. My memory.
It's all right.
Just teasing you, man. It's okay.
My memory is not great anymore.
It's fine. No, it's fine.
But I know I actually gave the other one to my teammate Derek.
Oh, cool.
And Derek, it's actually Derek's favorite box now.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Very cool.
The RTC. I know the RTC is every.
I call it the breakthrough.
I don't know
box.
what would you call the specific one that you sent us?
I don't know. I mean, they're all just.
I named it, Rob. I've already taken care of this. It's the.
What
RTC,
was it? What is it, Josh?
It's the RTC breakthrough box because it really focuses on breakthrough communication. And I'm right.
So then
why? So we're just going to leave it at that.
Breakthrough. Okay. Let's talk about breakthrough communication here for a second. Why would you go with linear instead of random if you're going to go breakthrough? Do the noise suppression or the static canceling random. Can you do that?
I could play around with it. I haven't tried it.
I think there's something to the random, man. Even Katie Halte will tell you the random is everything. Random is everything because random just completely eliminates the possibility of a false positive with any kind of, when you're dealing with radio, at least.
So
I think if you had the static free random, dude, I would love one of that. I would love that.
Here was the thing, like with that whole thing with this circuit, because basically it's a SB7. It's detuned. That's all it is. I
figured.
I mean, I played around with because everybody wanted to detune a SB7. So I got the box. When I first got the sweep working, it sounds exactly like an SB7. So then I started playing around with the circuit, and then all of a sudden it was scanning, sweeping with no static. And then I said, there it is. And that's what people wanted. And that's basically, but people they were like, add reverb to it. All right, I'll add a reverb board. And that's as far as I'm going. I'm done getting it out. And then Josh came up. And then Josh came up.
The problem, like you just eliminated the whole need for a portal.
Exactly.
Well,
exactly. Yeah. So then Josh started playing around with it. He said, "Dude, have you noticed this on your box?" And I said, "What?" He said, "If you turn the sweep all the way up, it goes into direct communication mode. Basically, it will just words start coming through with no sweeping, no static, no nothing.
It's got to overload the timer. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but I feel like it's overclocking the timer for it to freeze. I don't know what's going on.
It is kind of freaky though. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'll have that thing be sitting there for like 10 minutes and not a damn thing. You almost wonder if it's even on, and then all of a sudden a voice will come through. It's like, oh, I didn't even catch that. What did that say?
But that's happened. We had two radios sitting side by side, and we're like thinking, okay, we'll turn them both on at the same time. They should, in theory, pick up exactly the same thing. It was like one was answering, the other one was like quiet. And then we were talking, they would start, one would answer our questions to each other that we're talking, we're having a conversation. Then they would start talking like between each other and talking about what we're talking about. It was just really bizarre.
Did you have the frequencies lined up right, like and everything?
We just turned them both on like all the way.
Well, when you were talking about like they should in theory be saying the same thing, and like that was one thing with the screen on the SB7 that you could do was literally line them up and hit the sweep at exactly the same time, so they're hitting the frequencies at exactly the same time. Yeah, you could literally see, if it hits the same station and they both. I mean, that's.
Well, that was the thing. So, like, if you just turn them all the way down, whatever, and then turn them both on at the same time, they would hit, certain frequencies at the same exact time.
Okay, so they do both have a same starting point then.
Yep.
Okay. Well, then you'd have to make sure that you turned it on in that mode, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you do. So you turn them both on, and then you turn the sweep all the way up. And that's what we did. And then we're like, in theory, they should be saying anything coming through, they should be both coming through at the same time. But that's not the case.
That's interesting.
So try that next time.
I'm gonna have to do that. I got it. Next time I see Derek, I'm gonna be like, hey, bring that. We're gonna do a little experiment.
Yeah, exactly.
That's an interesting experiment. I like that. I never thought about that. Especially because of the way that you have it, that's actually a perfect thing. That would be interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna start doing that.
I don't know what happened.
You piqued my interest. There we go.
Yeah, we need more sample size.
But yeah, I mean, with the whole thing, that's why I did it. That's why that was my end result, and that's what people wanted. And I'm like, all right, it was just something that I did. And then it was like, all right, here you go. And everybody's like, dude, I love this. I mean, this is exactly what I needed. And yeah, there's no need for a portal at all, period.
You literally, like, instead of spending $250 plus the SB7, it's like, shit, here's this for what was it, 200, 175, something like that?
Yeah.
There you go. You got everything you need. And you don't even have to have a noise suppressor. So, like, it's just the voices.
Right. Yeah,
what little do come through, they're coming through unfiltered.
That noise is being canceled out, and you're retaining the phonetical accuracy and clarity of all the communication of every consonant and vowel. I mean, much better than any guitar amp and guitar pedal device could ever possibly do.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean, this is and that's why we wanted to bring up the noise suppression and noise gate, just because we wanted to bring out attention to, hey, there is science behind why we don't like something. It's not just, oh, we don't like that guy or he doesn't like us. There's actually a reason why we don't use these things.
There's a reason. And if you look in the chats, I'll post it up one more time. Mm-hmm. Or if you just go to my YouTube channel, look I have a video up there called Why Not to Use a Noise Gate. And it shows somebody else using the noise gate, and it shows how he's triggering his responses to come through. So that's how he's hiding it.
Right.
The way that you have done it is like a big step, I think, in ITC with regards to being able to like eliminate excess noise without compromising the speech, the integrity of the speech, I guess.
Exactly.
And I think if you're able to even take that a step further and start implementing a random, or I mean, hell, if you can even figure out the way to do the Westboro Heaven's Gate device, if you can figure out a way to even band jump, I mean, with that ability, if you're able to recreate that feature with a more customizable radio circuit or something, like that's something that needs to be taken further, like 100%. 100%.
Yeah, there's some other things that I want to work on with, like I said, different high frequency radio, or actually sound, to generate voices from that sound. I mean, I've stumbled across it quite a bit. So and where those voices are coming from, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
I little birdie told me what Josh was working on a little bit.
Oh, stop! Don't make me blush. Did I?
And
tell you
I don't know if
birdie?
anybody, Josh, have you talked to anybody about? I mean, I'm sure that I'm not the only one that you've talked to about what you found with the DR60, right?
I've talked to you and Rob. That's it.
That's it.
We've joked about it a little bit on the show, and I don't know if we want to save it for another show, but yeah, I've talked with you and Rob about it. But I have to get one that's not working and take it apart and confirm my theory about it. But yes, I think I know what makes that thing tick. I think I know what's going on. I think that's
you and I can do a video chat soon because we have one.
Oh, really?
Well, we don't have a broken one, but we have one that Eric got for $10 at a yard sales.
Oh no! What, are you serious? $10?
So
aren't they like $40,000 on eBay or something?
Damn, that's a stretch.
No, I mean, but they're just for a 6-bit 6.6 kilohertz recorder. It's like, oh my god.
But what you have found about, but if your theory is correct, then you have changed the entire, like, you've almost settled a huge controversy or a debate about this recorder, changing it from a recorder to an ITC device. And that's
if I'm right.
Amazing.
If I'm right.
And I'm gonna give you the utmost credit for that, because that is something that is literally, I mean, it's more or less putting something to bed, like putting it to rest. Like, look, this is not, the speaker, the microphone is crap, but it's not about that. It's about something else.
Yeah,
it's about the timing. It's about the word clock. It's about all this other crap.
Right.
That Josh understands that I don't.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if I want to open this can of worms, but you're leading into the right direction. It's not so much, it's a standard microphone, standard speaker, but essentially it was the first digital recorder to the market, with the first consumer portable A to D, or analog to digital conversion. And you can put in your pocket. And all I can say now is this: it just wasn't timed properly. I think there is a major clocking issue in the codec that has to do with the VOR and triggering the VOR, or the voice activated function. But what I need to do is prove that. I can theorize that, but I actually need to set out and prove that. I'd like to put that recorder to bed. I've been working with it for a long time, and I'm very close to working with someone who's going to help me. And we're going to hopefully prove that, and just kind of at least technically say, this is what's going on. I can't speak for maybe anything ITC or paranormal related, but say, hey, technically, this is why this recorder is doing what it's doing.
But see, that's what I'm saying is that, we have this one. I have a voltmeter, or a multimeter. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's all you were wanting to do, right?
Well, no, there's actually, I don't want to give it away quite yet until I know for sure. But basically
we don't have to talk about it on the air.
Yeah, let me get to the next stage.
We can talk about it off.
I will talk about it. I'm not looking to patent anything or make money off of anything. I just want to make sure before I start talking about it, I have a little bit more in my back pocket to show in terms of theory. Talking about it any further might start a fire I don't want to start yet.
All I'm going to say is that we may have a recorder
Okay, please let me know, because I have one I kept because I'm also interested in audio, and it's also the first digital recorder ever made. Forget ghost hunting, forget ITC. So I have one for that reason. It's kind of in my collection, and I really don't want to take that one apart. It works perfectly.
Yeah, I have one of the pre-US models.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm. Oh, the FD
so one of the
serial
original
number?
first generation Japanese models.
Okay,
like
yeah.
before the original recall.
Oh, right.
First
Yeah, the recall. We'll talk about the recall too, and what they didn't do. So
trying to fix that codec issue, and
yeah,
they didn't.
I think I know what happened there. I think they went to the marketing department and went like, just tell them we changed it. Just say anything. You know, I have my theories of why they did that. Not just through evidence, but evidence of marketing, but through evidence of the recorder, and how the FD serial numbers, the FF serial numbers, and even the import models, they're really almost identical inside.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that on another show.
Yeah, that's
Definitely.
a whole show in itself. So
regardless, that if what you're figuring out, I mean, the fact that you've been able to get this to this point with it is amazing. And if what you're theorizing is correct, then it is a turning point with regards to our understanding of all the recorders out there, because then it makes you question what other tiny malfunctions within certain circuit pieces, or, like parts on a circuit, like what little thing could affect the sound or could affect something that could give them the full ability to speak. I mean, what if that timing and that extra static, or the what do you call it, the static bursts is what we call them,
right?
What if that is what they need? Like, what if that gives them the ability because of that low bit rate? You know what I mean?
Right. And essentially, it's like you said, it might be considered more of an ITC device, or it could at least explain why the frequency or the amount of EVP coming through is so much higher than other recorders. Although, again, I have a lot of objection to the quality. Recording at 6-bit, 6.6 kilohertz. It's awful. It just is. It's just awful. But it is interesting how what I believe might be a mistimed or a misclocked issue, triggering the VOR and basically feeding itself. It's like a dog chasing its tail. Is basically almost like acting like a ghost box in some way. It's almost like a sweeping recorder, essentially just recording its own internal noise as it eats itself alive. But I have to prove that with math and testing. So.
I mean, even when you look at the idea of that, when you look at the possibilities, I mean, when you talk about audio and you think about the complexity of some of the devices we use anymore, and the complexity of the audio devices, I mean, when we're talking about even a ghost somebody that had died in 1950 or whatever, I mean, none of the equipment that we use, even like remotely, they can't even comprehend that, I would imagine.
Right.
But I would imagine in these cases, sometimes simpler is better. And maybe it's easier to figure out. Maybe, what if time and space is irrelevant? So, like, when it's less pieces, you think about like Minecraft graphics versus Call of Duty graphics.
It's a good example.
You know what I mean? What if it's easier?
Yeah, no, I understand. It's well said. It's a good example. It is. Yeah, we'll tackle this on another show. It really is. I want to take the theory to a certain point and then be able to back that up. At least kind of put it out there and see what people think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not onto something. But I work with word clocks and master clocks and quartz crystals baked at certain frequencies that are in these clocks. And even working with that and hearing the noise from deactivated clock cleanup circuitry or improper clock cleanup circuitry, you can hear internal noise. And it reminded me a lot of the DR60, and it got me thinking maybe the clocking issue could be a major problem. So I have to prove that now. I mean, now it's on me to set out and prove that. So if anyone has a broken DR60, please let me know.
I just wanted to make sure that was pointed out and recognized, because like a lot of people wouldn't have known that you have, that's just one of the other many things that you work on. But like, it's just something like that. That's a game changer. That would be a game changer if what you were able to figure out was proven, because it would change our whole. You would have to relook at every electronic device that we use for audio recording. I mean, It would make you want to question a lot of it.
Yeah, that's why some of the early recorders, the early digital recorders, have some magic to them. Whether it's a weak electromagnetic shielding, which allows other frequencies to come in and add their own artifacts to the sound. They record at low sample rates. Although
you deserve to be recognized for that.
I wasn't even going to bring it up.
I'm just saying. That's all I wanted to say.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. I wasn't going to bring it up, but now that you have, I do thank you. I guess it should get out there because I have been working on it for a while. So.
Well, that's what I'm here for. I'm a hype man. That's what, I'm the guy that like jumps around on stage before the artist comes out.
Right.
Right. You know what I mean?
It's going to be
also, we have a project to finish, sir. That's been 3 years in the making.
Well, and that involves well, I don't want to. Do I talk about it? Do we talk about it? Yay, we're out of time. What do you know? I don't know if you want to talk about it, but why don't we get our oars back in the water? Let me get on the ball because you've been perfect and I haven't, and we can talk about. We can release that surprise on a next show or something, or
Man, Rob, Josh and I have been working on a project since even like before his divorce. Like long time, man.
Long before. Oh, you have
long time.
Idea. You have no idea.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And yeah, man. I love this guy, man. Me and him have been working together for a while. We've been talking a long time.
We have, man. No, it's been, and you know what? That's why when you came on the show, I said, you know what, you have so much knowledge and information, and you have your hands in a little bit of everything. Trying to fit you in a 2.5 hour show is nearly impossible because you have so much knowledge and so much to share and so much passion. I'm really glad you joined us on the show. I'm very grateful for that.
No, exactly. And this is like the type of shows that we like to do. Yes, I know we get a little technical. Yes, it starts going above everybody's heads. But the funny thing is, I know the funny thing is people actually really enjoy that. And that's what they want. They don't care how technical we get. We're just out there sharing information and telling the truth. And that's what the show is about.
I can dig it.
Yeah. I second and third that.
I appreciate it, man.
Dude, and thank you so much for coming on the show. I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time. Dude, there's so much potential here. Yeah. Already with
we haven't even scratched the surface.
Dude, I know, and there's so many things that I think we can just expand on, dude. And like I said, if you want to do something live and you want to bring viewers to, like, when you're on site and you want to share that with people, dude, let me know. Yeah. Let me know. And then I'll be like, hey guys, we got a treat today. We're going to do some live ITC sessions. We can experiment us doing something here, you doing something else in a remote location, and see what we get.
Yeah.
I think it would be a lot of fun, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Plus, I think, there's more that even we can do that. Like, I do a lot of just experiments, like the spring reverb cannon, blasting it through the hallways. Like, I do that kind of stuff. It's like almost every weekend. Like, I'm stuck at these locations almost every weekend. And then I say stuck because it's a job at this point.
Right. Yeah.
But I have a lot of time to do these things. And so, like, I'm always it's almost every Saturday night.
Yeah, we can do so much, and I want when I first heard like that spring reverb cannon setup, I was just like blown away, and I'm like, what? That's how it should be done. You know what I mean? It's like it could be done. It just needs to be controlled a little bit better. And the way that I heard it, it just sounded amazing, and it's clear.
I will say though, it didn't work the same way at Ohio State Reformatory that it did at Middle Point School. Although I really wish I would have did it in the chapel instead of the East Cell Block, because I think the acoustics were a little better in the chapel, and in hindsight, it's like, damn, I wish I would have did that. But
I totally agree. I mean, I spent literally 28 hours in that jail. I mean, seriously, we went in there, and then we left. We just went back, took a nap, and then went back for another overnight. So literally, we were there for 28 hours. So it was crazy.
I was hoping that the effect, like, because I was thinking if I'm doing this acoustic experiment, maybe it'll wake up some of the vibrational energy that has been soaked into these cells, into these stone, with the stone tape theory, right?
Yeah.
But it did not. Like, the acoustics in the East Cell Block are just not the same, and so it's
the acoustical properties.
I got to learn about the acoustics a little bit more, and that's a whole different.
The west cell blocks, I think, were more active after we were there and we're getting ready to lock up. That's where we heard people slamming cell doors and walking up in the catwalks above us. It was pretty cool. And we know that we were the only ones there, so it was crazy.
Man, last time, before this most recent time, the time before that, we had booked it out. We paid the $1,400 extra for 2 extra hours, and there was only 6 of us in that entire building.
Yeah,
$1,400 for 2 hours.
Well, yeah, it's $100 an hour after the initial $1,200.
Oh, okay. I see. I got you. Okay.
And it was on like a Sunday night or a Monday night or something. Like, you couldn't get it Friday or Saturday.
Sure, of course. Wow.
That's crazy.
I love everything about this, man. I love ITC. I love just the infinite possibilities and the infinite number of paths to explore. Mm-hmm. And none of it has been proven 100% to be correct. None of it.
Yeah.
Not a single bit of what we're doing is factual or definitive. Nothing's It's not scientifically accepted. We're all just guessing. We're fishing in the dark, basically. Our questions are the bait, hoping we get a bite, right? Sometimes you have good days, sometimes you have bad, but it's all based on the perception. It's all based on what you want to see and what you want to hear, and that's where the paranormal gets all skewed in a lot of ways.
And that's what I tell people when we're doing ITC sessions. I can't guarantee that it is your loved ones coming through. I can't guarantee it's that. I don't know what it is, but it's answering our questions. Can I say it's somebody that passed? No. Do I have an explanation? No. It's just some type of phenomena that we're trying to figure out, and that's it.
Right. I will say though, I am very objective and logical when I do my stuff. Like I that's why I'm very hesitant when it comes to even like linear sweeping. I'm hesitant about it just because of the way that, stations bleed into other channels, what I mean. But crap, I forgot where I was going with it.
You were hesitant with the linear sweep due to the
but I forgot where I was going with it.
You're very objective and very down to earth and very realistic about the evidence or about the paranormal.
Oh yeah. Well, even stuff like that. I mean, there's nothing. It's all like what I was saying earlier. What's evidence to you is not necessarily evidence to me, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. And people, it's hard to remain completely unbiased. Pareidolia is a real effect, and it's our brain's natural reaction, and it's wired to make faces or to make something familiar out of something unfamiliar.
That's correct.
So, and that's just how we are wired as human beings.
Right.
And trying to get around that 100% is very, very difficult. And so I cannot sit here and say that linear is not good for paranormal. I mean, I can't even sit here and say that the flashlight thing doesn't work. I mean, I don't know. Do you? I mean, it seems unlikely and logical. There's a lot of reasons why I don't like it, but I can't sit here and say that it doesn't. It's possible. Who might have said? We won't know until we're on the other side, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that we have the technology or even we've gone so far away of our understanding of the natural energy flow, the natural vibrational frequencies that, I mean, like Native Americans and ancient peoples, the Aztecs, the Mayans, like people that are way, they were so in tune with the universe, the earth, just everything. We weren't all technology and everything, you know, it was all, there was a reason they believed what they believe, and maybe it wasn't the right reason or, you know, whatever, but they were in tune with things that we are completely out of tune.
Correct.
Right.
And so
absolutely,
I think we need to start looking back. I think the frequency isolation is what I've been hearing about, right, Josh? Frequency isolation?
Boy, you're just
pulling out. Love it. You know how long I've been saying somebody needs to do that?
Yes.
I love it.
That's one of the things I am working on. It more technically a process called imaging, or imaging the sound. Not so much looking for faces in sound, looking for, you know, pictures or images, but essentially imaging or separating the frequency without removing any of the frequencies, but imaging them in such a way to where you can analyze, you know, one frequency band at a time, given a specific, you know, amplitude, and separate that through different channels.
See, I think it's something even going beyond specifically radios, though. I think, I mean, because everything in this universe, whether dark matter or light matter, everything that's in our visible universe, it all has some form of frequency.
Right. Imaging with the EM spectrum, I guess you could say. I don't want to limit it to just radio waves, but essentially another way to analyze or interpret what we're receiving.
And Josh, what did we talk about a while back when you came over? And I ordered everything, and everything's still sitting in boxes. Dude, I have a monitor. I have a camera. I have everything ready to go. It's just sitting in the boxes that it came in.
The video loopback method. Yeah, video loopback. Klaus Schreiber. And there's some great people doing fantastic work with video loopback method right now. Just the pictures. Oh my gosh, the pictures are amazing.
Dude, I'm telling you, I just don't have time. They're both sitting there in the box.
Not an excuse.
The recorder or the video camera and the monitor are both sitting in the box.
I love the idea of video feedback.
Get on it.
But see, I'm even looking beyond just the video feedback loops. Now I'm looking at hologram video feedback loops.
Holography. Yeah.
And then
Erlen Babcock,
take it a step further than that. Go to vector imaging video feedback loops.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I know they've just recently kind of developed this technology because and you have to have a specific, like, they have like particles that they from a powder that they put in the air, and they have multiple lasers set up, and it's like 3D from all angles. It's really cool. But
resonant frequencies,
the funny thing is what I wanted to do,
Austin. I'm trying to stay in hiding.
What I wanted to do is set up the video looping and also laser. What were they? The laser audio devices.
Oh, I have one of those, laser audio transmitter.
Yeah, that's what it is. I was trying to think of the terms. I'm just tired. I actually had two of them, and they freaking just stopped working.
I have one that KD built me.
Ooh.
And I have the receiver with it. I mean, the only thing about his, though, you got to have a guitar amp, and it's got to have gain. Like, you got to turn that thing way up.
Yeah. These were the ones that Bill Chappell built, or they were his products. I bought it.
The laser mics?
One of them was, the laser mic.
Those are technically illegal now.
Are they?
They're because it's surveillance. It's like, technically you got to have a permit to use them or whatever.
Okay.
In the United States now, laser listening devices.
Okay.
That's the only thing. You can use laser audio transmitters, but laser listening devices is a whole different story.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I can use a mic that picks up something a mile away, but I can't use a laser. Okay, all right.
Yeah, you could use a parabolic mic.
I was gonna say, I mean, that's already in existence, but okay, all right.
But I don't know. It's something I think because the laser, obviously, a laser can go a much further distance.
Yeah, no, I tease. Yeah, I can imagine that's something right, but it's okay. All right.
I know it's kind of, yeah.
Nitpicking. Okay.
Whatever.
Nitpicking. Yeah, whatever.
It's kind of like a similar law where you have to state that if you're like you can have surveillance cameras in your store or restaurant, whatever, but if you have microphones on those cameras, you got to state it. And
right. You have to
technically at a certain point, you're starting to invade people's privacy.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. No, that's true.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to call it a night. And thank you,
much,
everybody, for watching. And
thank you,
Austin, thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now we got to get some of the other guys to come in. So I'm going to be sending out some emails.
Absolutely, man. Well, thank you for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no worries.
I finally got the invite.
We haven't been
it was
on
my
long,
pleasure.
So, yeah. But yeah, you're definitely top of the list, man. So I'm glad you came on, and you'll be on again, and hopefully, we'll continue this conversation of ongoing technical improvements in ITC.
Exactly. All right, guys.
There will be more.
Yeah.
Well, good night, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
And yeah, thanks for watching.
Thank you.